and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnicky, and as always, I'm here with Jess Perkins and Matt Stewart.
Hey, Dave, how's it going? I always edit it out, but your big inhale before you start the intro is fantastic.
I made it even bigger than usual today, didn't I? Really, just to get the words out.
I leave it in and I turn it up.
So it always starts with... Give me a sec, guys. Great to be here. Obviously, ran here. I'm training for a marathon.
No, you're not.
That's not true. It's not true, everyone.
Dave's recording on a treadmill.
No, I'm not training for a marathon, but I have been training for our 300th live episode.
The segues on this guy.
Where was he going?
I've been training for 299 weeks with you guys.
Yeah.
And I think we're finally ready to live stream our 300th episode this Saturday night, July the 10th. And you can watch it from anywhere in the world. You can watch it live as it goes out, comment along with other people, or you can watch it on catch up.
I like that as a selling point. You can comment along.
Yeah.
Well, some people really get in there, and then often they get to the end of the episode and say, no idea what they said.
Yeah, they've just been having a chat.
I'll have to listen
Which is
I'll have
lovely.
to listen
Yeah,
again.
that's great.
It's a social way to watch it if you're interested, or you can just watch it at any other time on catch up on demand. And we'd love to see you there. Obviously, we won't be seeing you there, but you'll be seeing us there.
We'd love for you to see us there.
Yeah, that would be great. There's like an exclusive extra show at the end that you only get if you get tickets to the stream.
Mm-hmm.
And that's even on catch up.
Even on catch up.
And there's tickets for people in the room, but they're all gone, aren't they, Dave?
There's a few tickets left. We've been able to increase. We just had a few Patreon people in the room, but we've increased capacity just slightly. So there's a couple of tickets, and I literally mean a couple. If you want to come see us in the room, Saturday night, this Saturday, 10th of July at 8:30 p.m. Melbourne time. But, you can work it out. There's actually a listing on the sospresents.com ticket link where it says what time it will be for you all around the world.
I'm so excited for that. People can also come to see us if they want to wait a bit longer. In November, we're at the Palais for the Great Australian Beer Spectacular. No, that's not right. The Great Australian Podcast Festival.
That's right. We are doing. That's another big Saturday night show.
Yeah.
Like you said, at the Palais. Lots of great other podcasts being a part of this. You got our friends at the Dum Dum Club, Tofop with Will Anderson, Ursula
Can we call them our
Carson.
friends?
Toph up.
Actually, I went to the footy with Charlie, so...
Yeah. That's something you do with friends.
Yeah.
You can't
Exactly.
go to the footy with a stranger.
He did keep saying, okay, acquaintance, sit a little further away, but...
It's interesting that he said that.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Okay. I think it's just Charlie being Charlie.
A little bit further.
Fuck off. Fuck off. And you were like,
I love
Charlie.
banter. Love banter between mates.
Friends, best friends.
So, yeah, tickets for that are available right now at the greataustralianpodcastfestival.com.
And if you're in the mood for seeing stuff, why not come see me do some stand-up comedy? I'm coming to Brisbane on the 14th of July. I'm pretty sure that's sold out, though. New show is in Adelaide on the 15th of July. There are tickets available to that. I haven't been to Adelaide for a while. Adelaide notoriously don't buy tickets to things. So
Prove them wrong.
prove them wrong. And hey, what a great chance. We haven't been to do a do-go on over there for a while. If enough people say to me after the show, hey, why don't you bring do-go on? I'll get right on the phone to Jess there and then and say, Jess, book it in.
And I'll say, who is this?
I'll say, fuck off. Over there? No. A little
How did
further.
you get this number?
But the biggest one I'd love people to grab tickets to is I'm doing a taping. I'm going to tape the show so that people can see it in other places who I haven't been able to get to in recent times around the world. So if you want to be in that, if you want to immortalise the back of your head, maybe even your laugh, ideally. Ideally you're laughing.
Preferably. Unless you got a really funny head.
Yeah. I want to immortalise your funny-looking head. So you can come along to that on Thursday the 29th of July. There's two sessions, 6:30 and 8:30. The 6:30 one is getting close to selling out, and the 8:30 one's got tickets available. Come to both if you want to. Go on back to back.
Yeah.
See,
fun.
see how many words I say differently.
Wow.
Good. It's normal. It could be as many as 7 or 8.
And at the end, approach Matt and say, it was 9 tonight.
Yeah, let him know.
But yeah, that'd be really cool to see you at those. That one, the taping is at this very studio, Stupid Old Studios.
Oh, a beautiful studio.
Absolutely beautiful.
A second home. Third home.
What's
Fourth?
second for you?
Second would probably be like my parents' place, I guess. Third would be like the holiday home I've gone to my whole life. And then this would probably be fourth.
The holiday.
That's pretty good.
How
Yeah,
the
Oh, wow.
My grandparents' little wooden shack.
Stupid Oz Shooters was literally my only home for a while when I
Yeah.
lived here. But anyway.
Anyway, you can get tickets to all those shows, the 300th episode, the Great Australian Podcast Festival, all of Matt's fantastic stand-up gigs, and we've put a link in the description of this episode to all of those. Just click through. Very easy.
Yeah.
It's
Click
too
a
easy,
link.
if anything.
A lot too easy.
MattStewartComedy.com's my one if you can't be bothered scrolling.
If that's not easy enough. All right, let's crack into this episode. And you know what? I'm going to ask Matt, what do we do here? What are we doing here?
Geez, I normally am the one who throws that question out, so I haven't had to answer it
He's
in a
been
while.
throwing me under the bus a lot lately, so you have a go.
Which is fun, and I can see now how it's also mean. So what happens is one of the three of us gets a topic, usually suggested by a listener, often voted by Patreon supporters. We go away, we research it, we read about it, we watch some docos about it. We just bathe in it, bathe in the knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
And then we bring that knowledge back in the form of a report and we read it out to the other two who don't know what the topic's going to be until the report starts. And it always starts with a question. This week, Dave is doing the topic.
So I'm still wet from the knowledge bath. I've just come straight in.
I hated that
I forgot.
so much.
Oh, Jess, you didn't need to say so. It was clear.
In my silence and my disappointment.
I came straight. I didn't even have time to grab a towel, and I apologise. But the knowledge is fresh. Look, there's some. Just splash Jess in the face with it.
No. Anyway, the
question that we start
report
with.
starts with a question. What's this week's question, Dave?
All right, my question for you is John Stonehouse and John Bingham, the 7th Earl of Lucan, were both members of British Parliament, and in 1974, they both what?
Became... Wait, Lucan, isn't that like... That's werewolves or vampires? Isn't it? No.
I've no
What's the word I'm thinking of? It doesn't matter. Wicket?
idea.
Oh.
They both...
Thinking of Lupin? Is that a thing?
Lupin, probably.
Oh.
Lupin. Is it? Doesn't matter. I just think they both became werewolves. That's my guess.
Matt's looking in werewolves. I'm saying in... What year is it? 74?
1974.
I think they both did a cum.
Whoa, they became dads.
Cannot confirm nor deny.
Yeah, you can pretty much assume that.
Yeah, they went the whole year.
So I think
dry year.
I think I got you on a fucking.
But they did it
technicality.
doggy style because they were werewolves.
Bit of regret face early on there. Let me just tell you.
Give us a clue.
Ooh.
Wait, what? So
Is this something we would know? Would we have heard?
No, but you
this?
can get... No, you wouldn't probably know the story, but you can probably
They
guess what happened to them.
they
Ooh.
disappeared.
They disappeared! Yeah!
Ooh.
Matt, fuck you.
That was great, honestly. Praise you.
Like you should.
Matt, fuck you.
Okay, fair enough. Like you should.
That's right, in 1974...
Wanna fuck you like I should.
1974, John Stonehouse and John Bingham, both members of British Parliament, and they both disappeared.
Wow.
74.
Let me tell you all about...
1974.
1974.
Wow, that's weird.
This one was voted for by the Patreon supporters, Sydney Scheinberg Deluxe Memorial Package members. So thank you so much for choosing this topic. And it's been suggested, because it is essentially two different topics here.
Oh.
Suggested by a few people. Lord Lucan, the first guy...
He suggested it himself.
Wow.
Talk about me.
Please.
Bit desperate, mate. Come on.
And he's even like in the suggestion listed his location. He's like, please find me.
Suggested by Dan Smith from Southend-on-Sea in the UK, Chris Williams from South Wales, James Edwards from London, Scott Coventry from Greenock, Holly Franklin from Yorkshire, Julie Bay in Iowa, and Ben Whittingham in Liverpool. And then the other guy, John Stonehouse, suggested by two people, Ella Robinson-Clark from Melbourne and Hananel Gershinsky from Urfat in Israel.
Oh, awesome.
That's,
So it's a worldwide topic.
yeah, a lot of. It seemed like there was quite a few Brits in there. It might be.
They'd probably be a bit more familiar.
Yeah.
So you guys don't know either of those two
I wonder.
names?
Is it their kind of Harold Holt? Maybe.
Whoa. Let's find out. Ooh.
That feels like a yes. Just answer the fucking question, Dave.
It's honestly
Fuck's sake.
not.
Fucking asshole. Fucking answer the question.
Jeez, you're dropping a few F's today, Jess.
Yeah.
Too many?
You're
Have I-
effing and jeffing all over the
Jess
place.
and Zephyr and Jeff.
Have I met my quota already?
I'm afraid so.
Damn!
We only have a PG rating.
We're not quite past the watermark yet.
John Thompson Stonehouse was born on the 28th of July 1925 in Southampton on the south coast of England. And when I googled Southampton scones, it looks like they did them correctly, put the jam on the bottom. Thank you, Google Images.
Correctly.
So that was maybe that puts you off this guy already, Matt, but
It is funny that you're so proud of this thing that everyone does. Even,
you mean everyone does it correctly.
well, I mean, if you think mainstream is correct, then sure. Enjoy listening to Coldplay and having your jam on first.
So do you like underground scones?
Yeah.
I like scones you've probably never even heard of.
You would, like, it's fine that you don't get it, but that's just how...
You've probably never even heard of the combinations I use.
It's pretty embarrassing, but whatever.
Dirt and bricks. Tastes good. You wouldn't get it. John Stonehouse was born into quite a political family. His mother, Rosina, was a former mayor and councillor in Southampton, and his father was a trade unionist. It seemed that young John was destined for a political life, and at the age of 16, he joined the Labour Party. He was conscripted into the Royal Air Force in 1944, and after the war was educated at the London School of Economics. He was a very smart guy and boasted about having an IQ of 140.
Oh, he boasts about it. Sounds cool.
Sounds cool.
sounds like
Brad.
sounds like a cool guy I'd love to hang around with.
I don't even know.
A 16-year-old politician who boasts about his IQ. Sounds like a real cool guy.
A cool guy. Sounds like a cool guy I would have seen at train stations in my youth.
Eating a scone correctly, though. Mainstream.
What's a high IQ?
Well, Jess, I'm glad you asked because I wanted to put that into context with other famous people, and I came across two articles. The first was called Celebrities with Surprisingly High IQs, and another one was called Dumb as a Box of Hammers, Celebrities with Low IQs.
Great.
Well, I can't wait to find out which list I'm on.
I got to
Your
say,
answer may shock you.
I just went with the high IQs page for context. If that scale is right, 140 would make John Stonehouse slightly smarter than Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was 132 to 135, but not as intelligent as Lisa Kudrow, who's listed as 154.
That's
Does
not
that,
surprising.
does that put that into
She
context?
studied science, I believe.
That's
I guess you got to be pretty smart for that. Hey?
154 that's genius level.
Wow.
He's very intelligent. 140 is near genius. Anything above 140, you're off the chart.
Oh shit.
So he's very, very smart guy.
Where am I?
Okay,
72.
you're also off the chart, but
The other way. I've got emotional intelligence. I got street smarts.
Yeah. What's your street IQ?
My street IQ, 200.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max points. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's way more than Lisa Kudrow's street IQ.
Yeah. So
She gets mugged all the time.
yeah, not
Is that what
me.
street IQ does?
She gets mugged by me mostly. I mug Lisa Kudrow all the time.
Is street IQ your success as a criminal?
Yes, nerd.
Good for you.
Yeah, what is street smarts? Is it to do with mugging?
If you have to ask.
Yeah, you don't.
Sorry,
have
mate.
You don't got it. Hey, I'm not smart in the streets, but I'm smart in the sheets. Jess saw that coming a long way.
I fucking knew it.
Sheet smarts. Oh, God.
The time you said you were Mensa in the sheets. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And a whole crowd just like laughing, but also going, "No, you're not."
Hey, you check out the listicle. Celebrities who are surprisingly smart in the sheets.
Stonehouse served as director and then president of the London Cooperative Society, but his dream was to be a politician, and he ran in the 1949 county council election and lost. He then contested the seat of Twickenham in 1950 and lost.
Okay.
Then in Burton in 1951, he lost.
Okay. All right. I'm seeing a pattern.
But finally, in 1957, he stood for the seat of Wensbury in the West Midlands and was elected to the House of Commons, which is the UK Parliament's lower house, at the age of 32.
He's just trying
right.
every seat. He's. I'm imagining. Do you have to live in the area? Is he moving house a
Moving
lot?
all the time.
Just like, okay, struck out there. Next.
I'm a local. I'm campaigning on local values. I love it here in Check Note.
You know, down at the local shops in the quarry.
Oh. Is that what that is?
Is it a quarry here?
That-
You guys got Bunnings?
That famous tree that we all know and love.
Oh, you don't know the tree? You call yourself a local.
Hey, welcome to town.
He's just
noob.
gaslighting people. What a dick.
Yeah, real piece of work, this guy.
Do we like this guy or not? I can't tell.
Well, you tell me.
Well, I just asked you.
I mean, he's got the
I'm asking you to tell me.
high IQ
Oh, yeah,
that he's boasting about.
Of course,
he's
yeah.
hanging out at train stations, apparently.
I like him a lot.
He's contesting election after election.
Yes.
In February 1959, Stonehouse travelled to Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe, on a fact-finding tour, which sounds fun. But it wasn't that fun for him because within 2 years he was expelled from Rhodesia after criticising the white minority government of southern Rhodesia and encouraging black residents to stand up for their rights.
Oh.
So maybe we do like this guy. But according to the Shropshire Star, his stance on ethnic minorities won him good support back home and his career began to take off.
Oh, okay.
So kicked out, but it looked good for him.
Right.
Interesting.
And in 1967, he became the Minister of State for Technology, and he was the last holder of the post of Postmaster General and oversaw the introduction of second-class stamps in 1968. And if that's not a big claim to fame.
Wow.
I'm sick of being treated like a second-class stamp.
Second-class tramp.
Oh, sorry.
Well, politically, he seemed destined for great things. Apparently, he wanted to be Prime Minister. And looking at his trajectory here, it probably didn't seem like too far-fetched of an idea. And around this same time, another star was on the rise, albeit in a different echelon of UK society. John Bingham, our other character today, was born in Marylebone in London on the 26th of August, 1934.
Ooh.
Matt can never remember which one of us.
Oh, that's one. Yeah. Very important date on the calendar.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to one of you.
Happy birthday to John Bingham, please.
Yeah.
He was born to George Charles Patrick Bingham, the 6th Earl of Lucan, and Baroness Caitlin Elizabeth Ann Dawson.
Elizabeth Ann Dawson. Caitlin. Okay, yeah. There's a lot in there.
Yeah, a lot of names. I feel like that's them being like, all right, I've got to pay tribute to you.
Yeah.
And you, and also Aunt Caitlin.
I hadn't heard many Caitlins back then. That's interesting. I'm
Yeah.
probably wrong. I just haven't heard of that many Caitlins back in the day, you know?
Back in the 30s,
Well, he was born in the 30s, so she was probably born in what, the...
20s.
Yeah,
Had them young back
they
then.
did have him young. In the 10s. She's probably born in the 10s.
Bingham, this is the young one, was born into an Anglo-Irish aristocratic family that had once owned vast estates. He had some famous relatives, including the 3rd Earl of Lucan, who was commander of the British cavalry and when acting on Lord Raglan's orders, ordered the fateful charge of the Light Brigade during the Crimean War, which is a comedy of errors that is definitely worthy of a report one day.
Is that a song as well?
Yes, it's a Tennyson poem, I believe.
Poem. Charge of the Light Brigade. Yeah, I know nothing about that, but that phrase sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like immortalised by that, yes.
Yes.
Yes, that was Tennyson. It was. Yes. By the 1930s, the family had lost its lands, though, and most of its fortune.
Oh.
Though I should say they were still very well off.
Oh.
They just were. Before they had just excessive amounts of money.
Oh, dear.
According to the Irish Times, Lucan's father was a socialist, but his son would grow up with no such sympathy for left-wing politics. Instead, he would grow up to embrace an old-fashioned aristocratic lifestyle, drinking, gambling, and spending money that he didn't have.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Live fast.
Yeah.
The do go on way.
Live fast. Regret it.
Yeah.
Die real old and
crap.
sad.
Crap.
Live Fast Diarrhea. It's a classic Vandals tune. And I think we live by that.
Yeah.
It's a bit of fun.
Do love to live fast and diarrhea.
Despite his perceived privilege, the young lord didn't have the easiest childhood, it should be stated. During the Second World War, at the age of 6, he was evacuated to Wales and North America and was separated from his parents for 5 years.
Oh, no.
And on his return, they sent him straight to boarding school at the very expensive Eton College. So he didn't have a great relationship with his
Eton
parents.
College comes up a bit in past reports. Watching The Crown, I think that's where like Prince Charles and a lot of
the
prime
royals.
ministers went.
Yes. I was looking it up. The school fees there, it's equivalent to over $100,000 a year. Very expensive.
Okay.
I'm listening.
I'm sitting in the office going, yep. Okay, well, I'll have a look into that.
Yes, thank you. Is that
yeah.
my phone ringing?
Sorry,
I must
just
skip that. I just want to, because my dad does listen to this podcast, so I just want, Dave, if you could just say those school fees just one more time.
$100,000 per year.
So, Dad, maybe stop telling me how much my schooling cost. I turned out fine, and, could have been worse.
Is that really something that comes up a bit?
Dad loves to tell me how much it costs to raise kids.
Well, I mean, that's a good lesson to learn.
Well, it costs more to raise royal kids.
Yeah, Dad.
If you're thinking about becoming a lord,
Yeah,
Lord John,
which I was. I was thinking about becoming a lord. In fact, you made us that night
that's right.
a lord and a lady, and now I've got to raise royal kids.
yeah, I assume you'll be sending your children both to Eton College.
Eton College, 100 grand, you say?
Yeah.
And I have 8 children, so...
Oh, God.
no.
Carry the one.
Sending the dog there? Is that Eton school for dogs?
I must send the
I
dog.
should say the scholarships are available. There is even a bunch of people there that don't pay any fees. So if you have a gifted child, maybe.
Maybe one who's
Dave.
bragging about it?
You know me.
Of course
I
she's
don't
having
have a gifted child.
Well, then maybe you were marrying a Mensa in the sheets end.
I got happy little dickheads.
Woo!
They're so dumb.
Look, I got to tell you, I'm about to brag about how good Eton can be for the young lad. It was at Eton that John developed a taste for gambling. He supplemented his pocket money with money he earned through bookmaking. He was regularly seen leaving school to attend horse races.
He's a little bookie.
He's a bookie.
That's so cute.
John, we spent $100,000 this year and you haven't been to any classes. You've just been at the track.
Picture him with his little tote bag and whatever they're called.
I'm imagining a very small kid, with all the other bookies at the races. That's why it's cute.
Last call?
Yeah, that's fun. But
It's
he's
a
really tough. He's a tough bookie.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He doesn't take any crap. Oh, it's very friendly. Very friendly while
lovely.
you're making the bets.
Yeah.
But if you owe money, thumbs will be broken.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's just the first step. Kneecaps next.
The teacher looks around the room and half the kids have the broken thumbs. Miss,
They're
I
all
can't
in
hold
full
a
body
pencil.
cast.
Then the principal's wheeled in. I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry, I'll pay you back.
pay you next
I'm
week.
good for it, I swear. I'm on a teacher's salary.
I know I'm at Eton, but the fees don't really filter back into the teachers.
That's right. I'm still on a very basic wage.
You watch yourself, sir.
You would think if it's $100,000 a year per kid, the teachers are being very well compensated, right?
They should be, right? I mean, they should be the best teachers that money can get, right?
Yeah,
right?
and they should be compensated for having to deal with those absolute turds.
It's also not even the most expensive. I think I read it's the third or fourth most expensive, so heaven knows what the most expensive school is costing.
Yeah, I bet you some of the teachers there probably even went to Eton. And they're going, well, not quite earning back the sunk cost there. Yeah. I feel it was Lycan is the werewolf thing.
Lycan.
That took you a while.
Well, I wasn't looking all the time, but I just knew there'd be people yelling at their iPods. You know that when you get into werewolves and vampires, there's some very passionate people.
When I googled Lupin werewolf, which is what I thought you were referring to, Remus Lupin, I thought you were referring to from Harry Potter.
Oh, wow.
That's what
there
I
you
thought you
go.
were saying
So I've
too.
combined the two, maybe.
2 levels.
Yeah.
I'm also looking forward to the tweets being like, does Jess have 8 kids? You'll never know.
Does Jess need financial help with those 8 kids?
Those 8 little dickheads.
Let's get a GoFundMe going to send Jess's kids to Eton. All 8 of them. All we need is $800,000.
Okay.
A year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it a
do years-
primary to 12?
Yeah.
Peader 12?
You go there and board forever.
Okay, we're going to need quite a lot of money.
Nah, that's okay. How many girls have you got? I'm assuming they don't take girls.
Yeah, I'm
They
assuming they
don't.
don't take girls.
No.
Because what's the point? Why would a girl need a prime minister's education?
Yeah, you put them to work straight away. Kid, kind of school. A girl?
Go to school.
Nah, she'll be in the factory. Thank you.
Okay. No, my girls are all going to be elite sports women. Thank
Wow.
you very much.
They're going to learn that at the on the
My
factory
boys are
floor.
going to be bakers.
Wow.
Wow.
Even if none of them want any of that, don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Do as mummy says.
Like when people force their kids like to hold a golf club or a tennis racket at the age of 1, you're just getting the kid to start baking.
Yeah, in you go.
I had no idea why, but the day you were born, I decided you'd be a baker, and bake you shall.
Bake you shall. You bake until you're 18, and then you're not my problem anymore. You're on your own, kid.
No, that's when they're making it to the top of the baking world, and
Yeah.
you're always there in the background. Going.
Real stage mum of baking.
I'm looking after the finances.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
actually the baker manager, so
I'm actually going to change my... I'm not even going to change my name, but all my kids will have the surname Baker.
yeah.
Normative determinism.
That's great.
They're making a lot of bread, but I'm making all the dough.
If you change the name, is that determinative nomadism? That makes no sense.
Bit of fun.
Bit of fun. All right, well, so he left Eton actually to undertake national service, which at the time everyone was required to do, during which time he added poker to his arsenal of gambling.
Of course.
When he left the army a couple of years later, he joined a London-based merchant bank on an annual salary of £500, which wasn't heaps. This led him to meet a wealthy stockbroker who introduced him to backgammon, which he also bet on.
An annual salary of £500. His school cost No, that's currently cost
Currently,
100.
yeah.
I was still like, that doesn't add up. Okay, sure.
Well, I'll put that £500 into perspective in a second, because he was pretty good at gambling and won lots of money playing backgammon and bridge. They were his main things. The only problem was that he often lost even more money playing. So he'd win a small fortune, but then lose like a medium fortune.
Shit.
On one occasion, Lucan lost £8,000.
Okay.
Remember, his annual salary is 500, which is 2/3 of the money he received annually from various family trusts.
Okay.
So he lost nearly all of that in one go. Another time, he lost £10,000 in one night. He had to borrow money from family members to bail him out.
Oh, he's that family member. So
But-
hang on. So he's making £500 a year at his job, but he's also getting...
Like £10,000+ a year from family trusts.
So he doesn't need the job.
Not really,
The
no.
job is like pocket money, but not even.
Yeah. and
People like to work.
Oh, I'm just saying like he doesn't need the job. He
Yeah.
loves it. He works for the passion, of
Yeah.
course.
he loves merchant banking.
But it's like it's an absolute blip in the ocean of money he has.
But one big win is all you need to keep you going. And Lucan gave up his job at the merchant bank after winning 10 times his annual salary in one night by playing chemin de fer,
Maybe he doesn't love working that much.
which is that's a form of baccarat that's James Bond's favourite card game.
Oh, okay.
He said after the win, should I work in a bank when I can earn a year's money in one single night at the tables?
Yeah, that's clever.
Yeah, great point.
Which makes sense if you don't lose. The success earned him the nickname Lucky Lucan.
Fuck, that's a good nickname. Lucky. Ugh, great.
He began to really live the high life after this. Gambling, playing golf, driving powerboats, sipping the best Russian vodka, and driving an Aston Martin.
Martini. Shaken not stirred.
Well, driving an Aston Martin is what I was going to say, because he's been described as debonair, wealthy, charismatic. He was 6'2" and rocked a, quote, luxuriant mustache.
Luxuriant mustache.
Love that. Love
What
that.
does that mean in terms of mustache? Obviously, luxuriant is a word I use quite frequently, but not in terms
I hadn't come across it.
I'm picturing it. That must mean big, right?
It means fancy.
Fancy.
So does it have a curl to it? What year is this? Like the 60s?
I'm looking for, yes, this is the 60s. I'm looking for the dictionary definition, luxuriant, thick and healthy.
Okay, he's got a thick moustache.
And known for it. So he gambles, drinks expensive vodka, drives an Aston Martin. Sound like anyone else you know?
Yeah.
Matt. And you said he was like 6 foot.
6'2".
Yeah, and look at Matt's luxuriant moustache.
That's right.
Attached to his even more luxuriant beard.
Oh,
Yeah, I got a lot
You've
of
won up.
luxuriance on my face.
Yeah, he's a luxuriant guy. That's why I say I use that word a lot. It's
Ain't
in
no
relation
doubt
to my
about
good
it.
friend Matt.
I was thinking that he reminded me of a certain character.
Yeah, me. Yeah,
Remus
just
Lupin.
what he said.
Is that what you're talking about? Remus Lupin, the werewolf?
Yeah, the werewolf.
Did
from Harry
Bond
Potter.
ever have a moustache?
I don't remember a Bond with a mustache.
It feels like they must have toyed
Could
with
have.
it. Could have. Don't you reckon he could have if he wanted to?
Ah,
That's something about Bond. I forget, you're a big Bond fan, Dave. You know.
I'm a Bond fan, and this guy, John Bingham, was actually considered for the role of James Bond.
Really?
no way.
But he declined producer Albert R. Broccoli's invitation to do a screen test.
Because he's not an actor, right? Is
Yeah,
that
not an
part of the
actor.
reason?
But he looked the part,
Okay.
Wow, that's cool.
so he got an invitation, which is,
And the Aston Martin, that helps.
yeah, well, that's
Yeah, they're like, can we use
Can
your car
borrow
as
your
well?
car?
that'll save us a bit on hiring.
BYO car.
Yeah.
please.
And yeah, he already plays Bond's favourite game.
fees. Yeah.
Was
and
Bond
wins.
based on him at all?
No. Bond was around before this, but
Was he based on Bond, I think, is maybe a better question.
But-
Wow.
yeah.
Good question.
What character have you based yourself on?
Lupin.
I see that.
I know one character at a time.
Yeah.
Lupin, Charles Lupin or whatever.
Remus, yeah.
Remus.
Remus. In 1963, John Bingham, James Bond, married Veronica Duncan in a star-studded wedding, and they had an extravagant honeymoon on the Orient Express.
Veronica
Oh.
Duncan is a
Great
fantastic name.
That sounds like a character as well.
Veronica Duncan. Oof, that's good.
I like it.
And then the Orient Express is where Poirot solved a murder.
Speaking of luxuriant mustaches,
Yes.
the groom's father gave him a large gift for the wedding, which was very welcomed by his son. He was supposed to spend it on a house, but he used a lot of it to pay back his creditors.
Oh my god.
He did buy a
She's
house.
marrying into this?
That's good that he paid back some creditors.
Yeah. that's
Huh?
good, I guess.
Things are on
If
the
you
up.
said use it to gamble more, that would have been worse.
You know, first thing Barefoot Investor tells you to do is just wipe your debts, you know? Focus
Right.
on getting rid of your debts, and he's
wipe
doing
them.
that.
Call up your creditors and go, I'm wiping this.
I'm
debt.
wiping
Yeah, I'm
this.
wiping that.
We could have wiped this.
Hey,
I'm not going to pay this anymore.
I'm over it.
This has
Wanna wipe
actually
that?
been pretty stressful to have to pay you back all this money. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Okay. All right, but hooroo.
Consider yourself wiped.
Toodles.
So yeah, don't get on to me anymore because this is done.
Yeah.
We're done here.
Okay.
It's been fun, but it's over.
God, the
over.
Barefoot
Hey, the
Investor-
gravy train is pulling out of the station, buddy.
Oh, the best $12 I ever spent on the Barefoot Investor. God.
Save me millions.
Honestly, I didn't realize it was that simple. Jesus, good. Bingham got an even larger financial injection when his father, the 6th Earl of Lucan, died 2 months after the wedding, leaving his son a reported £250,000. Huge money.
It's quite a lot when he's making $500 a year. Okay.
I'm not going to work anymore.
I'm done.
The younger Bingham also acquired his father's titles: Earl of Lucan, Baron Lucan of Castle Bar. The title in the peerage of Ireland dates back to 1691.
Whoa.
So he was named the 7th Earl of Lucan.
Right.
There'd only been 7 of them. Since
Yeah.
the 1600s.
Got longevity in their genes.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, they live a long time.
Maybe they were werewolves. Do they live a long time? That's sort of weird thing to
I
assume.
guess so.
You kind of assume they wouldn't, right? I mean, they're out all night eating goats. That's got to
They're
take
out
a toll.
all night eating goats.
Ooh, eating it, eating.
Get some sleep,
Yeah.
would ya? That sleep schedule, out all night, bloody hell, that'll wreck you.
I'm sure having good sleep cycles and all that does help with health
Yes.
and living a long life. So
Yes, yes.
I think the werewolves need to take stock of that.
Yeah.
Maybe limit the all-night goat eating.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we can schedule that for a brunch goat eating.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I don't know why. Why you?
Why are you so obsessed with nighttime
Yeah.
goat
Why are you
eating?
letting the moon rule? Your schedule.
Have you heard of the sun?
Yeah.
You idiot.
The sun. You know how the moon's bright when it's a full moon? That's
Bloody
the
hell.
sun.
Try the sun.
Imagine a full
If you
sun.
like the moon, give
You're
the
gonna
sun a
fucking love
go.
the
You'll love the sun.
Oh my God, we're going to blow your mind with the sun.
Oh, the moon's not quite full yet, not bright enough. Oh my God.
Really?
I'll stop you right there.
Have I got the thing for you?
Matt giving a lecture to a nocturnal animal. What are you doing, Matt? What are you doing? You're sleeping all day.
Oh, yeah.
You're wasting your day.
Right.
Fucking, what are you, a teenager?
Fucking hell, mate.
Bloody wasting your days away. Wake up, be productive, okay? Let's get up at 6 a.m, go for a jog.
Okay. Get the heart rate going.
Yeah.
And then we'll
Then we'll do a
take it from
brunch. We'll have a goat for brunch.
there. Yeah. Then you can have your goat. You've earned your goat.
I personally won't have a goat, to be honest. I might have avocado toast or
Yeah.
some ricotta hotcakes. And maybe
Ricotta
a
hotcakes.
skinny latte. But you can have whatever you want.
Jeez. All of a sudden the wolf's going,
Ricotta hotcakes.
Ricotta hotcakes?
Yum, yum, yum. I'm so sorry, Dave, but that was a tangent we needed to have
Oh my-
for our werewolf listeners.
It needed to be said.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
sick
said
of
it.
them. I'm sick of them.
So he was named the 7th Earl of Lucan, and with great title comes great responsibility.
He feels like the kind of guy who's going to step up to responsibility.
Yep.
Now, back during this time, and until 1999, which is pretty wild to me, an entitlement of all hereditary peers, which is lords, all that sort of stuff, was membership to the House of Lords. Like Australia's federal parliament, the United Kingdom is divided into two houses. There's the House of Commons, the lower house, which is made up of voted-in members of parliament, like our old mate John Stonehouse, who I talked about at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson, the current Prime Minister, all those sort of people, they come from there. And then there's the upper house, which is the House of Lords, which, like I said, until 1999 was made up of peers like Lord Lucan and hundreds of other people
People just born into
with
a
inherited
role.
titles.
Unlike those commoners like Boris Johnson.
True. But at least you've got a campaign and stuff. Back until 1999, these people, his dad dies, suddenly he's just a member.
Wow.
Yeah, that feels right. I mean,
So-
the Queen is our head of state. I don't know,
Yeah.
very similar deal there.
Yeah, it's a bit...
Who's their head of state?
I never asked them.
They should get their own queen. Anyway,
Yeah, we got this Queen. She's actually English, I think.
Yeah.
You should get one of...
have you met her?
yeah, you should get one of them.
Yeah, Queen. I think she spends quite a bit of her time in the UK.
She's got a holiday house in
yeah, I think
London.
she's got a home there.
Yeah,
sure
she
of
definitely
it.
has a bit of an accent. I think she's got a bit of an English
No, but you know when
twang to her.
when you move here post the age of like 15,
Yeah.
and you don't lose the accent. I think
Yeah,
she's
that's
you know
true.
Yeah.
she's like 90 something.
She might even have a dual citizenship.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I don't know what passport she has, but she's
Yeah.
probably got a couple.
Fun fact,
No passport.
No passport.
the Saints won the premiership in 1966.
Wow.
No, she does not have a passport.
That is
I
fun.
just knew the people out there wanted that said. Did
Yeah.
you feel that sometimes?
That's why I said I don't know which passport she has.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I'm like, oh, people are gonna be
right.
bristling.
Actually.
Sometimes people don't like to read between the lines, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
If it could be said, let's say it. So yeah, he's just inherited this title, and he's now a member of the House of Lords.
And he's got a lot of responsibility. And his
Yeah.
dad gave him all that money to buy a house, and he paid off his creditors. So I
Yes, that's
assume
right.
now with all this responsibility, he's going to like settle on down and just be a really good lord, whatever,
Yeah.
baron, some dude.
Well, Lord Lucan and his wife Veronica, they had 3 children: Francis, George, and Camilla.
Good names.
And he seemed to be on top of the world. For a while there, it was going really well. He had money, a title, and his gambling was actually profitable for a bit.
Right.
He was on a winning streak.
That's what. Yeah.
Lucky Lucan.
Yeah, things were going well for Lord Lucky
I
Lucan.
mean, Lord Lucan is what a name.
Very
Oh,
good.
it's so
And
good.
Lucky Lucan, it's all good. Lord Lucky,
Yeah.
it's all good.
Lucky by name, but how long would this luck last?
Oh, assume forever.
I mean, you've already told us he disappears. So
I still think he became a werewolf.
yeah.
Well, in 1969, our other... Yeah.
It's a good year.
Look, if it can be said. Our other mate, the other John Stonehouse, became Minister of Posts and Telecommunications under Prime Minister Harold Wilson. So he's up in the cabinet. He's doing very well for himself. He's a minister.
For him.
Harold Wilson, he's from The Crown. Is that a coincidence?
I I think
There was a
not.
Prime Minister character on The Crown called Harold Wilson.
Wow, maybe it was
Might have been based
an
on it.
homage.
Oh, yeah, it could have been an homage.
Yeah, tribute. No, random name generator.
Oh, wow. What are the odds of that?
What are the
There's only
odds?
so many names, you know?
Hope Larkin had some cash on that. The werewolf Larkin, that is.
Is he also a gambler?
Also a gambler.
Right.
Still alive.
So he's a minister, John Stonehouse, but in 1969 he also found himself in hot water when he was accused...
He's having a bath?
What's this? I've fallen in the bath.
I love it when we're in sync. And we're crushing it today.
Oh, I
Look at us go.
prefer it when you're in Bath. Bit of fun there.
In sync.
Remember when we were in Bath? That was nice.
We were in Bath
Beautiful
together.
day.
I'm listening to another Bill Bryson book where he's going around England, and he's still whinging about everything. I think I mentioned this on a recent episode. I was listening to a book of his. He's old before his time, old Bill.
Yeah.
Just everything's like, oh, this town's changed. That's now there's a bloody Hungry Jack's there when it used to be a corner store.
He's like,
There's a lot of that.
I've never even been here before, but this town has changed.
But yeah, it is making me go, I want to tour around the UK again. There's this one line in it, and I've been laughing about it ever since. I need to talk to you and see is this funny? Because it made me laugh so much. The guy who reads it isn't him, it's another guy who does a great performance, but he says something like, there's something marvellous about catching a double-decker bus. The way you see a town, you see it from a different angle you can't see from any other mode of transport. As people get on the bus, you see the tops of their heads. And then as they come past you to sit down, you look at them as if to say, I've just seen the top of your head. What? I've just seen the top of your head.
Why?
Is that funny?
Oh, it's
That is.
it's wild. Yeah.
So,
baffling that Bill Bryson wrote that.
yeah, great line.
And then he read it back and went, still good.
Great
and
delivery.
then an editor read it and went, that's great.
I mean, that's
And then in the audio booth, when the person reading has read it out, they're like, "Can you give us another one?"
yeah.
It's so funny.
What a choice to make.
Was he like short on words or something?
I've just seen the top of your head.
I mean, I think because it seems like it's like, what? That's why it's just so funny. What a funny thought. And then, oh man, I love it.
That's really
Bill Bryson, the kind of stream of consciousness writer that just writes any thought that comes into his head.
Maybe. But I only just thought of him because when we were in Bath and we did the tour of the old Roman baths, one of the audio tours you could do was with Bill Bryson. Anyway, this is a sidetrack.
And it said, I've just seen the top of your head.
Seen the topical Roman head.
If you ever meet Bill Bryson, anyone out there knows Bill Bryson, maybe he's a neighbour of him, just bend down. Let him he loves it.
He loves to have a look at the top of your head.
Let him have a look at the top.
Also Inspector Crown.
So John's found himself in some hot water.
Hot water,
not
which
a
is-
bath.
Oh my God.
Well, he could have been in the
That's how we
bath
got
when he
there.
found out the news that he was accused of spying for Czechoslovakia.
Oh.
Now, communist Czechoslovakia had been occupied throughout the Second World War by...
Occupado.
So hang on.
Was
Someone is knocking on communist Czechoslovakia.
And it was your Czech impression.
The Czechoslovakians said
Occupado.
Occupado.
And Hitler's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'll leave you to it.
Is that what you say if somebody knocks on the toilet door?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, big time.
They'd been occupado by Nazi Germany. And
I'm never in the toilet though, because a
Gentlemen never shits.
Stop trying to make it a thing.
Dave said this report's actually quite long.
Yes.
And we are having a good time. Sorry, Dave.
Dave's he's starting to have the sort of the look of a guest reporter.
Yeah.
Who's just trying to get through it when the three of us are absolutely taking the piss.
We're going to shut up for a little bit.
No, you don't need to. I enjoy hearing things like Bill Bryson's takes on the toss of people's head. That is genuinely very funny.
I think if it was, I'd listen to it last night go to bed, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it.
Did you get any sleep?
No. I was almost drifting off, and that sparked me right back up.
So fun.
I'm enjoying this one more than his first one. But yeah, it's still some stuff in it. It's like, oh, this is some 30-year-old takes because this one's from the 90s. But anyway,
Yeah, right. Obviously, the take of seeing the top of someone's head. That's well done.
That's timeless.
What is this from the early 90s?
Anyway, Dave, please do go on.
So he's been accused of spying for Czechoslovakia, who became part of the Soviet Union's Eastern Bloc when Europe was divided after 1945. As America and the Soviets tussled for world dominance during the Cold War, Britain, an ally of the US through NATO, sided with the former, with America. So Czechoslovakia, you should not be sharing any information with them, and that's what he's accused of.
Oh.
A cabinet minister he was accused of leaking information to the enemy, a serious allegation, and one that John Stonehouse strenuously denied.
Oh, how that would be frustrating. Is there any proof of this?
Well,
Ooh.
it's got to be a part of the story here.
Like, obviously you're getting to that.
Well, why don't you
Like-
shut up and let me know?
I wanted to try and allude to it without giving anything away, but also...
I could answer it now, but that would kind of destroy this whole thing I've written. Why are you
into
asking?
the structure?
Why are you skipping
right.
to that now? What's wrong with you? Have you ever done this show before?
I'm trying to create an intertwining narrative between these two Johns here.
That's so good.
Dave, sorry, can we just get to the point? Guilty, not
Dave,
guilty.
did he do it?
And why did he disappear?
Why are we wasting all this time?
Oh my
If you
God,
know the
mate.
answer already, just tell us.
You are just yammy,
Fucking hell.
yammy.
Could this not be a paragraph?
Give us the elevator pitch of this story.
From the Shropshire Star, which has an article about this part, the MP was left fighting for his career, but remained calm under questioning by MI5's infamous Cold War officer Charles Elwell in the presence of Prime Minister Harold Wilson. So we got called in for a grilling with the Prime Minister watching on. He was questioned twice and extensively so, but he denied all the allegations. He said, "I am not a spy." The Prime Minister himself, Harold Wilson, denied the allegations in the House of Commons, and Stonehouse was never charged. But his political career was severely damaged.
Oh, no.
It's hard to be associated with that kind of thing and do well afterwards. He fell out with the Prime Minister, Harold Wilson, and when Labor, his party, lost the 1970 election, he was kicked out of the shadow cabinet. So he lost his portfolio, which meant he also lost the extra money that went with being in that position.
Oh.
So he basically got a bit of a demotion
Shit.
because of the allegations. So he decided to try and make money for himself outside of politics.
Okay.
Remember, he's got an economics degree, a high IQ, and a pocket full of dreams.
Right, and he's also got a horse. He's going to do pony rides.
Yes, he's a thinker.
Yes.
What could possibly go wrong?
You look around your house, you go, what can I use here?
Yeah, all right.
Okay, I've got a kettle. I can make cups of tea for people.
Yes.
I got a horse.
10p a pop.
What can I do for that?
10p a pop.
10p a pop, a horse.
That's catchy. Yeah. All right. We're making progress.
10p a pop. But if you want a horse and a tea, 15p.
Yeah, there we go.
Horse and tea, 15p. That's how I remember it. He's a thinker.
He's a thinker.
Well, he set up a bunch of businesses around the world, including an investment bank in Bangladesh. They all failed and he got into massive debt.
So the economics degree has not done well.
So, I set up a lot of businesses. Spent no time on any of them. But I set a lot of them
A
up.
lot of them
Spread
up
myself very thin.
and waited.
I'm sure one of them is going to become $1 billion
Playing
idea.
the odds here. Playing the odds.
Yeah.
Just have to wait for Google to knock on the door and try and buy me out.
Yeah.
Hyper global mega debt. No, that's not a good name for business. Don't put debt in the business.
Oh, have I said too much? Well, according to the Independent newspaper, a fund he set up to help Bangladeshi victims of a hurricane had £600,000 missing from its accounts. All up, he was... So that's terrible, obviously.
Oh.
So, does no one commented? I was like, we have to say.
Is that
that's
good?
Great.
Yeah,
£600,000 missing. Great. You've sent that to people who need it. Great.
And all up, Stonehouse was left with debts that were rumoured to be about £800,000, which is equal to about £10 million today.
Okay, that's a lot of
So he's in serious debt.
So
Put that in AUD.
that's
for
like
me.
20
Yeah, just
million.
under $20 million.
Yeah.
Think about how many kids you could send to Eden with that.
I can't even do that
Carry the
maths.
2, 7, 8,
Two of them?
2.
It's like, it's not much,
Yeah,
actually.
not that many. Jess, half her kids. Just pick the gifted
boys.
ones.
Well, it's my-
Okay, the boys. To cover his debts, he had to do a lot of creative accounting, which created another house of cards ready to fall on him at any moment.
He created a house made out of cards.
Yeah, that was one of his investments.
That's a bad idea.
He thought, I'll be able to Airbnb this experience. Would you like to sleep in the King of Hearts room or in the Ace of Clubs, maybe?
That's good. I like that, actually.
Oh, you're a real Two of Spades kind of guy, all right? It's a discount room out
What
the back.
room would you choose?
Oh.
Queen of Hearts over here.
Oh, okay.
Ace of Spades. With Lemmy.
You and Lemmy.
Yeah.
Dave?
I'm a real Nine of Diamonds kind of guy.
Yeah.
9 of Diamonds. I like the specificity.
Yeah.
Me too. So he's in debt. He's doing this dodgy accounting. He's accused of spying. He was also having an affair with his secretary, Sheila Buckley. So his personal life's also in a bit of turmoil. He asked her to forge documents and listed her as director on the majority of his companies.
An affair. Was he married?
Yeah, he married. He did marry and have kids.
Yeah, right.
So now he's in debt, having an affair. The politician's life was crumbling down around him. He was certainly in a bit of a tight spot.
Wow. And this is all became about because he was accused of being a spy.
And it sort of ruined his political career.
Which there's no proof of by the sounds of it.
At the moment, no. No proof. And he's denied it. His boss has said, no, it's bullshit. But then the boss has said, I can't have you being in my cabinet anymore.
Right, you're tainted.
So he's still an MP, but he's just tried to branch out and make a bit more money.
MPs, I have no idea. They get paid okay, probably.
Yeah.
But he was used to the high life.
The high life. And he thought he could make the really high life.
Yeah.
Now he's $20 million in debt.
Yeah.
It's really backfired.
I'm just so lazy and not money motivated. So I'd be like, MP salary still? All right.
But you know, the thing is, with that attitude, Jess, you'll never be $20 million in debt. So.
Oh, I really thought you were going a different way there of like, I'll never be anything.
Yeah, that's what he meant.
Yeah, you'll never be $20 million in debt.
Yeah, you're right. Because I'll never care enough. Good for me. Look at me go.
Because both of the people I'm talking about in this story are both kind of people that are like attempted to risk it all to get more.
Yeah.
And let's see how that works out.
Gambling in the game of life.
Yes.
And in the game of
and on the
blackjack.
tables. So back to Lord Lucan, our other guy. When we left him, things seemed to be going well for this real life James Bond.
Yeah.
The Lord and his lady, Veronica, passed every evening at the Claremont Club, an upmarket gambling den on Berkeley Square, run by eccentric zookeeper John Aspinall.
Everything about that was odd. You went upmarket and then den? Gambling den?
Yeah.
Upmarket gambling den.
Run by
It's a real roller coaster.
Run by an eccentric zookeeper.
I know, you hadn't even got to the zookeeper at that point. Eccentric zookeeper. Pretty straight down the line kind of zookeeper. Oh, no.
Oh, he's eccentric.
No, he's eccentric.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's got long hair.
He runs a gambling den. Not to be confused with his tiger den. You only make that mistake once. Left for the tigers, right for the gambling. All right, right for the tigers, left for the gambling. Oh, fuck! While Lucan gambled and ate this same dinner of smoked salmon and lamb chops at the Claremont.
Every night, same dinner.
Yeah,
Oh,
interesting
it's very
combo.
close to goat, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I'm thinking this guy's a werewolf.
Yeah.
Salmon plus lamb equals goat.
Yeah.
You get a real goat-like consistency.
I get it when you find something, at a particular restaurant that you're like, that was so good, I'm going to get that again. But every night, mix it up a
Look,
bit.
I didn't read this, but I get the
some fucking
feeling
veggies in
I get the
there.
feeling that he probably won the first night he ate that, and it was like,
Right.
well, I've got that. My luck charm is the salmon plus the lamb chop.
I forgot he's a
Probably super- I
gambler,
don't know,
yeah.
It absolutely plays havoc with my guts, but but I won that one
shit
time.
in weeks.
So he gambled often all night. His wife was relegated to an alcove called.
Wait, Dave, all night? This is a werewolf.
Werewolf.
So
Sleeps all day.
I did read that he got up very late because the gambling back in the day it only opened late in the afternoon, so he would sleep majority of the day.
Yes.
Yes, he's a werewolf. Confirmed.
Crack this code.
Wow,
Love
Matt,
it.
you call that early. Good for you.
God, you're gifted.
Just get a sense for these things.
Yeah. And I never trust you, and that's my mistake.
So he gambled. His wife relegated to an alcove in the club called the Windows Bench.
What?
That's in quotation marks here from The Guardian. As times went on, Lady Lucan became unhappy.
Why? Because she has to. What? Because she has to go with him and just sit in a bench.
Yes. It's boring.
Why are you going with him?
Boring life. Also, it's a very up and down life, you know. Sometimes he's up, sometimes he's down.
You have a house. Stay there. Read a book.
I mean, how long? But you've got to be there in case he bets the house.
Right.
Hey, John. No.
Like when the dog's going to piss on the rug.
Leave it. Leave the house for me and my 3 kids.
John.
John.
Sometimes you give them a warning, and if they're not listening, John. Yeah, it scares them.
The couple became increasingly estranged. Veronica suffered from postnatal depression, and Lucan's gambling addiction and waning finances really put pressure on their marriage. And in 1973, he moved out of the family home. Lucan feared that his wife would win custody of their children in a divorce and deny him all access.
Well, yeah, you sleep all day, gamble all night. I reckon probably,
Yeah.
when are you going to feed them?
I'll say it. Bad dad.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to say it. But I agree.
Okay.
Bad dad.
Well, according to The Guardian, his obsession with getting his children away from his estranged wife had led to him spying on her in a desperate attempt to discredit her.
Why doesn't he just make a bet with her?
Oh,
If he wins, he gets the kids.
I bet the kids. Not Francis. He's my favourite.
I love Francis. The other two, Camilla,
Yeah.
whatever, who cares?
Camilla and George. Put them on the table.
She'll
Camilla's
never
got-
make it at Eton.
Yeah.
There was a messy court case involving private detectives and many of their friends.
Oh.
On the advice of his lawyers, Lucan conceded and custody of the children was awarded to Veronica, with Lucan allowed access on the weekends. Losing the court case was a devastating blow to Lord Lucan, who, because of his gambling losses, was already struggling. The court case cost him another £20,000, and he was forced to borrow money from many different people, and all his bank accounts were overdrawn.
Shit.
And yet, he continued to gamble.
Of course he did.
Chase your losses, people.
Yeah. Number 1 rule of gambling.
And to be fair, it was his job.
Yeah.
So he technically was working harder than ever. And I don't want to put a guy down for working hard for his family.
Dave, I just got a terrifying flash of you as a problem gambler saying that to your wife.
Oh, babe,
Hey,
it's my job.
If anything, I'm actually working harder than ever.
Dave, please never
for
start.
us.
I have a bad feel. I got a flash forward as well there, seeing David.
Yeah.
David. Sweating, middle of the night.
Yeah, most people, if they pulled a 36-hour shift, would be praised. But I've shat myself 6 times at a table, lost my life savings.
And I come home and you're like, where have you been? I've called the police.
Why have you got 3 shits in your pants? That's a lot of shit.
That's all I've got left, babe. All right?
Is there anything to eat, please? I've got to replenish. I've shat everything
I've shat
out.
everything out.
Also, we need to move the stuff out.
Yeah.
The house is no longer ours.
To be honest, neither is the stuff.
But we do get to keep the kids.
So he lost a lot of...
Camilla.
We're not
going to get much. It's been estimated that between September and October 1974 alone, the Earl... What are you laughing?
Other people do 36-hour shift, they'd be praised. It's just very funny. But you also had it too quickly. You know, you drew that.
I've thought about it.
Yeah.
Thought about it.
Anyway, sorry.
I admire his work ethic. To be honest, you have to be working pretty hard to, in 1 month of 1974 alone, run up debts of around £50,000, which is equivalent these days to £500,000. So nearly a million Aussie dollars he lost in a month.
That is very impressive.
That's impressive.
You are pulling 16-hour days.
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge.
And you are just dedicated to the loss.
Or he's just putting $500,000 on black and then having a nap.
And then walking into the ocean. Fuck. We then come to a very fateful day in the story, November 7th, 1974. Lord Lucan had plans to meet Conservative politician Greville Howard, who, when I looked him up, is still alive. Greville Howard.
I don't know.
At the
it's
Claremont...
I love
Greville.
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 Beautiful name for a boy or girl.
Greville, come on. Shoes on, please.
Greville Street, Paran. I bet you two should go out
Greville
there.
Street.
Oh, fantastic.
Fine for a street, bad for a child.
I love it.
Greville.
One of my favourite cafes. But Greville Howard He was going to meet him at the Claremont Club, which remember is the upmarket den,
Yes.
at 11 p.m. But Lord Lucan never showed up.
Well, he's finally gone to bloody bed
Hopefully.
at a reasonable time.
Bet you he's eating a goat.
He's ravaging a
Knowing him.
Left his watch at home.
Yeah.
No idea what time it is.
Over in Belgravia, Lady Veronica was at home with her 3 children, Francis, who was now 10, George, who was 7, and Camilla, who was 4.
Oh, they were their real names. I missed that. I thought you were riffing on the names. I like these ridiculous names, Francis and Camilla. No, that's what he's named them.
That's what he's gone with. Really, you going with?
What was the other one? George.
Francis, George, and Camilla.
Yeah, right.
Camilla's the worst.
Yeah.
Francis and George are okay.
I don't know.
Late 60s names.
I only know one other Camilla. Neighbour down the road. No, Camilla Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Plays lawn bowls.
Lovely
Lives
lady.
3 doors down.
Lovely lady.
Yeah. Who's it? Packer Bowls?
Packaballs.
Packer Bowls. Sorry, I don't
Pack
know.
of bowls.
What are those sounds?
No, I was saying Camilla, pack your bowls.
Pack your balls.
We're going to the club.
Oh, should be out in a
She'd be
jiff.
so happy.
Should be out.
She's got her little bowls bag, her special bowls shoes. Camilla, pack your bowls.
Which one is Camilla Parker Bowles? I get her confused with. Was she married to Charles? And who's the one who's married to? Who's the other one?
Kate Middleton?
No.
Sarah Ferguson?
Fergie. Yes, she's married to someone else.
No longer married to
Andrew.
Andrew.
You break the news to me like this?
Gosh, that's not the only news I've got about Prince Andrew.
He doesn't sweat.
Unbelievable. So, she's at home with Francis 10, George 7, Camilla 4. Also in their house was their nanny, Sandra Rivet. The court had ordered that she had to have a nanny in the house.
Why?
I don't really know why, but that was part of the conditions. The 29-year-old Sandra had been with the family for about 9 weeks at that point. November 7 was a Thursday, and Sandra usually had Thursday nights off to see her boyfriend John, but she swapped that to see him the day before. But the two spoke on the phone at 8 o'clock. She then put the 2 youngest kids to bed, and then at about 8:55 p.m, she asked Veronica if she would like a cup of tea before heading downstairs to the basement kitchen to make one. Veronica was watching the news on TV with her daughter Frances on the bed, the oldest one, in the master bedroom, and wondered what was taking Sandra so long with the tea. She considered sending her daughter down to check, but decided to go down herself. This turned out to be probably a very fortunate decision. Because Lady Veronica got to the kitchen above the basement and noticed that it was completely dark down there, which she found very odd. She called out to Sandra, the nanny, from the top of the basement stairs, and rather than a response, heard noises coming from down below. Then someone hit her, Lady Veronica, on the head at least 4 times. As she screamed out, her attacker told her to shut up, and she recognised the voice as belonging to her husband, Lord Lucan.
Wow,
No.
classic werewolf MO.
Couple of
Wait,
whacks
so
with a wet noodle.
he snuck in, and did he know the nanny?
I wouldn't know who she was.
Yeah. So so you assume he's also done the same to the nanny as well?
Well, yeah, because she's in the kitchen up at the top of the stairs and has been hit on the head 4 times.
Oh my god.
Lucan says, shut up. He tried to push her down the stairs into the basement, but she fought back, managing to grab his testicles.
Yes,
Force-
that's where I would have gone for
Yeah,
too.
straight for the ghoulies.
Right in the nuts. Come on, kapow! Nice try, werewolf.
Do werewolves have nads?
Big nads.
Okay.
So big.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They're a real hanging target.
She got his testes.
And he let her go.
Yeah.
And a great article.
You guys are very precious about your nuts.
Ow!
Ouchie!
Oh, don't!
Hey!
Unfair.
That is unfair.
That's not in the rules. Pass the
Foul.
belt.
That's
Foul.
a no-no. That's a no-no. It's a no-no.
A great article from medium.com picks up the story here, and I'll link to all my sources in the description. It says she, that's Lady Veronica, said she begged him not to kill her, saying, please don't kill me, John. She asked where Sandra was, this is the nanny, and he responded that Sandra was dead and told Lady Lucan not to look.
Fuck.
She tried to go along with him by asking what they should do with the body. She tried to convince him that no one would miss Sandra, that the nanny had few friends. She told him that she would stay inside the house until her wounds had healed and no one would ever see them. Lady Lucan said he seemed to accept this, and he asked her if she had sleeping pills. She told him yes, and he took her upstairs back to the bedroom where he told Frances to leave and go to her own bed. That's the end of the medium bit. Lady Lucan lay down on the bed and her attacker, Lord Lucan, gave her some sleeping pills. He also made her lie on a towel to avoid staining the bed. But she thought if she fell asleep, he would continue to kill her, so when he went into the bathroom, she made a break for it.
Yes.
She ran down the street to the Plumber's Arm pub. She was covered in blood and screamed, "He's in the house! He's murdered the nanny!" By the time the police got to the house, Lord Lucan had vanished.
What about the kids?
Well, with Lord Lucan nowhere to be found, they did find the kids. They were all safe.
Oh, God.
But they also found the
I
dead...
was like, good on you for making a break for it, but you've left the kids in the house with him.
But they did find the body of Nanny Sandra Rivet, who'd been killed with a lead pipe with a bandage wrapped around it. It was a grisly scene with blood everywhere. Seen some photos. It looks awful. Rivet's body had been placed by her attacker into a canvas mail bag. So clearly he'd attacked her, and then when Lady Lucan had come downstairs, she'd surprised him putting the body into a bag. And the theory is that because it was dark, he thought he was attacking his wife. Because it was completely dark in the basement. The light bulb had been taken out.
Oh, what a brutal story.
What a twist this has taken.
Yeah, I know. We're thinking it was such a silly goofball, just a rich... I didn't think, thought he was just eating goats.
Well, after the attack, Lord Lucan is known to have driven 42 miles, possibly to eat some goat.
I assume so, yeah. Late at night, yeah.
To the home of friends in the Sussex village of Uckfield, which is very funny.
Uckfield.
It's Fuckfield without an F. Leaving them in the early hours of the morning.
Uckfield, baby.
He recounted to them and to his mother and other friends in a phone call, and notes immediately after that he had happened across his wife being attacked by a stranger in the house.
Piece of shit.
So I drove across the country. Yeah, that
makes
sounds
sense,
right.
Yeah.
And before he left Susan Maxwell's Scott's house, he wrote 2 letters to his brother-in-law, Bill Shand Kit. One was short and about money and an upcoming sale that would satisfy his debts, and the other was more personal, detailing what happened, saying that he'd interrupted a fight and that now his wife was likely to accuse him of hiring a hitman, but it wasn't him.
Wait, what?
And that he asked the brother-in-law if he could take care of the children rather than leave them with his wife.
What the
That was his wish.
fuck?
I've just killed someone. Gonna write a couple of letters.
Your sister, she's gonna say, is that it's her?
Yeah. So
her brother. So your sister's gonna say it was me.
I've hired a hitman.
She's crazy. Anyway, don't listen to her, your sister. Listen to me in a letter. I fled. I'm right.
Like most innocent people do, we love to flee.
I interrupted somebody attacking my ex-wife.
Yeah, so he's tried to plant the seed, and he even wrote, "The circumstantial evidence against me is strong in that Veronica will say it was all my doing."
What? That's not... Why would you be talking like that? I mean, obviously you wouldn't be. If that's what happened, you would hang around.
It's baffling. Absolutely baffling.
Why would you... Well, does that make any sense that he would have fled? And going, before she accused me, I accuse her. She for some reason, she's going to accuse me.
So...
But it wasn't. It was just some random...
Well, I
saw it and I ran away.
I think it's safe to say he's not thinking rationally at this point.
That is a good point.
3 days later, Lord Lucan's borrowed, blood-splattered Ford Corsa was found abandoned, with a section of bandaged lead piping in the boot, at the cross-channel port of Newhaven in East Sussex. So it's right near the channel. And the media went absolutely bananas for this story. It was massive in Europe and right around the world. An aristocrat known for being the real-life James Bond, a member of the House of Lords, had probably killed someone and then disappeared. So, huge tabloid story.
Whoa.
Back to our other friend, John Stonehouse, who had marriage troubles, money troubles, and just troubles in general. So he went on holiday to Miami. On November 20, 1974, just 12 days after Lord Lucan had disappeared, John Stonehouse went for a swim at a Miami beach. He left his passport and his money in his hotel room, and he just went out for a swim. But he did not come back.
Oh, you said Harold Holt.
Yeah, the way you reacted to that was like, oh, there must be something
Yeah,
similar here.
something.
Geez, that's really similar.
His clothes and towel were found on the beach, and a full-scale search was launched, but no sign of John Stonehouse was found.
The difference is that Harold Holt didn't, as far as I can remember, didn't have huge debts and
Yeah.
a reason to disappear.
He's just a passionate swimmer.
Yeah.
Like Lord Lucan, it was another media frenzy. Had he drowned? Had he been killed by a shark? Was it more sinister? Had he been murdered? Did it have anything to do with Lord Lucan? These two MPs disappearing within 12 days of each other?
Right. Yeah, that's really I didn't realise it was so close.
And at the time, the New York Times wrote an article that said, quote, at various times, newspapers have published innuendos linking him to the mafia, a Czechoslovak spy ring, and the United States Central Intelligence Agency.
Like Harold Holt, did anyone suggest that a mini sub took him away?
Czechoslovak sub.
Some submarines.
Stonehouse's wife... I know. What a weird mode of transport. Stonehouse's wife, Barbara, who was the mother of their 3 children, spoke to the media and said that she thought it was a tragic drowning incident.
Right.
Despite the fact that no corpse had been found, obituaries were published. In the House of Commons, a ceremonial silence was held to mark the passing of the honourable member for Walsall North. So everyone's like, he's gone. So
He went on holiday by himself.
Yes.
Didn't even take the kids.
Yeah, without knowing
Bad dad.
much about it. Yeah. Well,
Kids don't want to go to Florida.
is this episode going to be called Two Bad Dads?
Yeah. I'm sorry, kids. I'm just going to go to Disney World without you.
I would argue one of them is worse, but they both seem pretty bad.
The one who went to Disney World without him?
I'd say the murderer also very bad.
Oh, yeah.
But okay. So this feels like, without really knowing anything apart from the things Dave said today, it feels like he's faked his own death.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
Wow. So 2 very high-profile members of British Parliament, different houses, disappeared in under 2 weeks. What the hell had happened to them?
Well, they disappeared, Dave.
Dave, you just said it.
that.
You just said it, Dave.
Dave.
Oh, Dave, you okay?
Oh, wait, there's more written here. Wow.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm reading off a scroll and I just unfurled it a bit more.
That's the trouble with scrolls, isn't it? You never know where the scroll ends.
What's this? Please turn over. Oh, my God.
Back of the scroll.
Kids today always scrolling.
Always scroll.
Back of the scroll. The story picks up 5 weeks later on Christmas Eve, 1974, right here in Melbourne, Australia.
Get the fuck
What
out.
the heck?
I love it when Melbourne's involved.
I know. Jess loves it.
I love it.
Loves a reference.
I love to feel included.
Yeah. This guy's born on your birthday?
That's nuts.
A policeman was tipped off to a newcomer in town who'd been behaving strangely. The man was using the name of Clive Mildoon. This makes me laugh.
But like a fake name, it'd be so weird. You can pick any name.
Anything.
Clive Mildoon.
I think you can go too obvious, John Smith or something.
Yeah.
That's sus. But a name like Clive Mildoon,
Yeah.
people are going, all right, but what's your actual name?
Yeah. What are you hiding?
There's somewhere in the middle, Michael
Mildoon.
Schwartz. Mildoon.
Yeah, you can't put Clive and Mildoon together.
No.
Michael Mildoon.
Michael Mildoon.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Or Clive
Michaels.
Johnson.
It's always Michael with you. Michael Michelson. That's too obvious.
Michael Michaelides. I'm Greek. Hello?
Hi, I'm Greek.
Hi, I'm Greek. I mean Michael.
I'm Greek Michael.
They call me Greek.
That's a nickname they give me around the places
They.
that I'm known.
Them. They give it to me. Anyway, good day.
Good day.
So the man was using the name of Clive Mildoon, upper-class Englishman. Had been
Hello. Clive Mildoon.
charmed, I'm sure. He'd been noticed depositing $21,500 in cash at the Bank of New Zealand. The teller, who handled the money, later spotted the same man at the Bank of New South Wales. But it was
What's this teller doing?
yeah, it's weird. That's
Checking
weird.
out other banks on their lunch break.
Yeah.
Go check out the competition.
Oh, are you moonlighting at the Bank of New South Wales? That is not on. It was discovered that this deposit was made in the name of Joe Markham.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
Is
better
that better
name,
than
yeah.
Clive Muldoon? Joe Markham?
That doesn't stand out to
Yeah,
me.
whatever.
So it's reported to the police. It's a bit weird. They got two different names depositing large amounts of cash in two different banks. So Melbourne police got in contact with Scotland Yard and asked if they were missing, quote, any well-spoken upper-class businessmen in suits.
Wow, I mean, come on, Melbourne Police. Do a little more digging before you're like, you guys missing
got
anyone
any?
kind of fancy? Scotland Yard's like, fuck, we got Australia on the phone again.
They also
Oi, we've got this bloke, yeah, he's got quite a bit of cash on him and he seems like probably a bit British. Do you know who he is?
They also got in contact with NIDA and asked if there's anyone who's good at doing an English accent. Scotland Yard sent a cable back saying that it was likely to be one of two men,
Ooh.
either Lord Lucan or John Stonehouse. And the Aussies asked how they could quickly tell the men apart. And they were told that Lord Lucan had a 6-inch long scar.
Oh, okay. On his dick.
Well, on his right thigh.
Right.
In a dick. And Stonehouse did not.
Okay.
This is how they could quickly identify him without rousing suspicion.
What? Not? They couldn't just send back a photo.
Well, no, this is before times it was hard to just
Send a photo.
email over a picture.
But they
okay.
both look about the same then, obviously.
One of them's
Also-
like 6 foot tall.
Probably you could just grab a newspaper from the last month because there was a big story.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also like, so if he doesn't have a scar on his leg, he's definitely, imagine, it's like, well, it's not one of them.
Yeah, but that doesn't
Prove that it's the other guy.
Definitely not Lord Lucan.
Luckily-
it could be John Stonehouse or any other man without a scar.
Luckily, it's hugely. It's a big part of our culture to dack people.
Yeah.
So it was actually quite
Dacked
easy.
it.
Cops love dacking.
Welcome to Melbourne.
An
Dack.
undercover dacking.
Welcome to Melbourne. And then the ruler out straight away. Ooh, 5.5 inches. Now
nope.
let's do the scar.
So the man calling himself Clive Milden was arrested and the officers ordered him to, quote, pull down your trousers.
Welcome to Australia.
Oh, my God.
Got him to dack himself.
Yeah, not even doing the dacking. Self-dacking.
What do you reckon?
Humiliating.
So
Any guesses on who this might be?
I reckon. Well, were they both posh?
Both posh.
Okay. I don't know. One of them went out to sea. I mean, that's how you get to Australia back then. You could have swum. So that makes sense.
Did I mention he was...
took him 5 weeks. That's probably about right.
Yeah, about
Did I
right.
mention he was the world's greatest swimmer?
5
No, you
weeks
didn't.
to swim from Florida to Melbourne. That's probably about right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay.
A couple of rest stops.
But I'm going to say it's the murderer.
Well, I guess I'll say it's the other guy, the
Right,
swimmer.
well, the quiz will be won by one of you.
Ooh.
They pulled down his pants.
One of them then. It's not just some other random guy.
Yeah, they pulled down his pants and they found he did not have a 6-inch scar. He didn't have 6 inches of anything, am I right? They had just arrested John Stonehouse,
Whoa.
the guy who disappeared in Miami.
Yeah.
So the police officer said, you must be John Stonehouse. And according to his lawyer, Jeffrey Robertson, John Stonehouse pulled up his trousers, stood tall and proud, and declared, yes, I am. I am a member of Her Majesty's Privy Council, and I demand my rights.
Oh, you suck. You just had your pants down, you idiot.
I'm glad as he's pulling up his pants. And I have a 140 IQ.
I demand my rights and a cup of tea.
And can you let me know what my rights are?
Yeah.
What are my rights down here?
What am I right? So what are they?
Yeah, I demand them. And I also demand to know what they are.
Thank you.
It became clear that Stonehouse had faked his own death in Miami and then secretly travelled to Australia via Hawaii, Singapore, and Malaysia.
It's a good way to do it. Beautiful way to see the world.
And he'd used a false passport and had met up with his mistress, Sheila Buckley.
Sheila. Great
She's
name
gonna
for
fit
an-
in here.
Yeah, she'll fit right in.
Well, come on
Sheila.
in.
Why? I don't know. Australia does not feel like a good place to come to, I don't think.
Why? Nah, good call.
It just feels like, I mean, they're like, it sounds like they've got a good relationship, cop to cop. in the Victorian police over there and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. It just feels like...
Yeah, but what about the laneways?
Oh, the coffee culture.
He loves a coffee.
He loves a coffee. The graffiti laneways.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
And the weather would probably be, similar to the UK,
And
maybe a bit warmer, but not too... It's not Queensland, where that would just be blistering
Too hot.
for a palm.
And what about trams? We're one of only several dozen cities in the world that have trams.
And we're very proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely sold a lie as a kid. Yeah. But, and I would also say, how about you just deposit the money slower?
Yeah.
What, is it burning a hole in your pocket?
And this isn't now we live in a fairly cashless society. Back then, just pay stuff in cash.
Cash forever.
Live on your cash.
That's all right.
I think he's made a...
Come on, he's an
got all that
economics
cash.
guy. He doesn't want to miss out on these sweet interest.
Yeah.
He did it once. He deposited one big chunk, and they're like, oh, that's interesting. But then he did it again with a different name.
But isn't your mistress with you?
Yeah.
Get her to deposit
Freaking
some.
hell.
She's not getting the attention.
Can't trust her with the money.
This guy is
Women.
absolute cock up.
Bloody send her to the bank. She'll come back with a new pair of shoes.
Send him to the bank. He'll come back with another failed business.
Come back without his pants. I lost him.
But he does have his rights.
Yeah, it just sounds like he's made a mess of this.
It turned out he'd also taken out a £170,000 life insurance policy. His wife back home in England, however, was surprised as anyone that he was still alive. She had no idea.
Oh.
Yuck.
He considered resigning as an MP.
Considered resigning?
But what? Did you?
He considered resigning. He's faked his own death and moved to Australia.
No, this guy. Well,
He's got it all backwards. Maybe politics isn't for me.
I'm going to work remotely from Melbourne.
can you imagine in those 5 weeks that they've thought he's dead? They've probably started. They've had like a by-election or whatever to try and fill that seat. And now he's gone, I am still an MP.
Oh, my God.
But there's a rule in the UK that I was not aware of, that an elected MP has no right to resign. Unless they die or are expelled, they must become disqualified if they wish to retire before the end of a parliament.
Okay, now what qualifies you for disqualification? Faking your own death?
That doesn't count?
So, since there's another rule that... so you can't quit, basically. You can't just go, I quit.
You can't quit me. That's what the Queen says to him. You can't quit me.
In Australia, absolutely can quit the parliament if you want to.
You should be able to quit any job.
But there's also another rule that an appointment to an office of profit under the Crown disqualifies an individual from sitting as a member of Parliament.
That's confusing. I don't understand.
So if you get another job where you're making money from the Crown, you can't be an MP because there's a conflict of interest.
So if you become the Queen's personal bodyguard,
Yes.
you can't also be an MP.
So what they do is they have a position called Crown Steward and Bailiff of the Chiltern Hundreds, which is an amazing title. And if someone wants to resign, they can apply to be appointed to this position. And heaps of people have done it, including former Prime Minister Tony Blair when he was in 2007 when he wanted to resign. So
change the rules. Right?
Isn't that so weird? So it's just this little sort of dance you have to do to be like, I'd love to apply to be that. And they go, yeah, sure, no worries. And once you're there, they go, oh, actually, because you're that position, you can't be an MP anymore. Now you can leave.
And then you quit that job as well.
Yeah, and then often if multiple people want to quit in one day, you might have it for the morning, and then Matt will have it in the afternoon. It's such a strange process.
Just rewrite that rule. The Queen will approve that, won't she? Or whoever has to.
It's baffling.
And John Stonehouse, he got the paperwork to be appointed to the Chiltern Hundreds and considered resigning, but decided against it.
Oh my God.
He was too proud.
Too proud. He just wanted to keep collecting the check.
According to The Independent, he came up with a shallow defence. He said that he rapidly set about constructing a defence, claiming he'd been facing blackmail from South African business partners and had suffered a brainstorm in Miami. So he basically said, I had a breakdown, but I'm still an MP. He tried to avoid extradition, so he still wants to be an MP but stay in Melbourne.
I mean, yeah, the laneways.
Well, the coffee culture.
But he got 6 months of the trams because he's eventually taken back to the UK to face trial. But he still refused to step down as a member of Parliament. And you ask what it takes to get sacked. His party, who are in government, couldn't get rid of him because Stonehouse held the balance of power in Britain. If he resigned or was fired, the government would lose their majority. They only had a one-seat majority, so they had to be... Basically, he could call the shots as long as he wanted to be, and they were like, oh, we can't get rid of you. Despite being imprisoned in Brixton, awaiting trial for 18 charges, he was still a member of Parliament. He was bailed in August 1975 and gave a speech in Parliament 2 months later, although he was shunned by the other members. No one wanted a piece of him anymore. He went to trial, which lasted 68 days. His lawyer, Geoffrey Robertson, who would later go on to be a very successful human rights barrister, advised his client to plead guilty and get a lesser sentence. But Stonehouse was again too proud. He fired his lawyer and decided to represent himself.
Of course he did. He's got a high IQ.
That always ends well.
Yeah.
Love it.
And rather than be cross-examined, so he didn't want to take questions, instead he gave a statement that went for over 30 hours.
He filibustered.
He just kept talking shit.
I hate him.
What? A 30-hour statement. What else? Well, what else do I want to talk about?
Then when I was 7.
What else?
What do you do?
do?
Sorry, hey, what do you do?
I'm the judge.
What's your name? Okay, what's your
Do a
name?
bit of crowd work.
Oh, yeah, judge. Oh, yeah, judging. You look pretty judgy. Hey, get a laugh out of you? Hey? All right. What about you? What do you do? Bailiff. Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah. All right. Nothing there. All right. Who else we got? Who's in the audience tonight?
Juror number 1.
Not surprisingly, the judge was not impressed with this arrogant man, and when he was inevitably found guilty, he was sentenced to the full 7 years in prison.
I'd be a horrendous judge. As soon as anybody vaguely arrogant came in, I'd be like, death.
With his head.
I'd be like, Jess, we don't do that anymore.
Okay, death.
Death to you as well.
And death to you.
Life in prison. He's just a little bit of tax fraud. Death. Get out of here.
Next.
Just be a nice person.
So he's found guilty. 7 years. He could have got 2, the lawyer reckons, if he'd just pleaded guilty.
Too proud for his own good.
It still took him 11 days after the conviction to resign as a member of the Privy Council. So he tried to hang on as an MP despite being sentenced to 7 years jail. This forced Prime Minister James Callaghan to form the Liberal-Labor Pact to stay in power because they lost the majority.
Right.
And then Margaret Thatcher later took over. His wife, Barbara, who despite the fact that he'd faked his own death to be with another woman, sat quietly by him during the trial.
Barbara cut him loose.
But she did quietly divorce him when he was jailed. So I heard an interview with the lawyer years later saying that he was like, she was one of the most impressive stoic women I've ever seen.
That just sounds very British to me.
Yep,
just quietly supportive and then
sat there
behind the scenes going, you fucked up.
Because I think also
done.
his lover, Sheila, was also in the courtroom. So how awkward.
Oh, that sucks.
I don't know if this is actually true because the only place I saw it was on this new website called wikipedia.org. But apparently, quote, whilst in prison, he complained that the prison workshop where he worked played pop music on the radio station. Didn't like that.
1970s pop, what would have been glam?
Ugh.
What are we hearing? I want to rock and roll all night.
Make it stop.
And party every day. That's fun. That guy's got no soul. Fuck this guy.
He did write, his brother wrote an unanswered letter to the Home Secretary complaining about John's state. He said, quote, now it is a sad fact that John is put to work cleaning out the lavatories, a job considered light duties. And he carries out these tasks with his usual thoroughness, no doubt. So he cleaned the toilet real good. He's proud. He's going to clean that bowl. Suffering increasingly from a heart condition, Stonehouse served 3 years of his 7-year sentence before being released from prison early on grounds of health, after which he married his secretary, Sheila Buckley. So she stuck by him.
Stand by your man, even when he's in prison. I think that's how that goes.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful song, beautiful.
I got nothing against staying with people while they're in prison. I'm just saying this guy sucks.
In In the final years of his life, he wrote 3 novels and made media appearances mostly to discuss his disappearance. That's what he was most famous for. So he'd be on chat shows and they're like, oh, the man who faked his own death.
I was a spy for Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
Ask me about that.
I wrote 3 novels.
I'm interesting.
I'm cool.
It's like, you know that when someone's doing a press tour for a book and people just want to ask them about this thing they were famous for in the 80s.
Yeah.
They're like, do the voice.
I just want to talk about the book. My publicist is making me do this.
Kind of don't do that voice anymore. I'm quite a serious artist now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Steve Martin promoting like a banjo tour or something. Have you ever thought of going back to comedy?
Yeah.
Fuck. On the 25th of March 1988, Stonehouse abruptly collapsed on set during an edition of Central Weekend in Birmingham during the filming of a program about missing people. So that always wheel him out. He was hospitalised and discharged, but 3 weeks later he suffered another massive heart attack and he died. For real this time.
Okay, are we sure?
The Guardian ran a headline that said, Stonehouse, twice born, twice dead. Which,
Twice born?
honestly, if we wanted to link it back to James Bourne, it should have said,
James Bourne.
you only live twice.
Oh,
That would
yes.
have been quite good.
That would have been way better.
I would have been out by then too, so come on, guys.
Come on.
Twice born, twice dead.
Yeah, no, I don't
I
know.
don't get it.
Because what are they saying? He was reborn in Melbourne.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
as,
Nah.
It's loose, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's tenuous.
yeah,
You only live twice is better.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I reckon I would have won the pitch that day.
Yeah, they fucked
You only
up.
die twice.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's good.
Maybe. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
no, but that implies he's dead. I like it.
He
So
is
that-
dead. It's not an implication.
So that's John Stonehouse. But what happened to our old mate Lord Lucan?
Yeah.
eating goats.
Well, he went missing at midnight, November 8th, 1974. He left without his passport, checkbook or license, and his bank accounts were never touched again. A large search was undertaken, tracking dogs were used locally, and it became an international manhunt. But despite this, no definitive sign of Lord Lucan has ever been found.
Whoa.
That's right, this is a mystery episode.
Wow. That's... justice was not done in this case. He's the one you really wanted to be found.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Over the decades, hundreds of sightings have been reported. He's been spotted as a waiter in San Francisco, managing a clothes shop in South Africa, living in a neo-Nazi colony in Paraguay, living as a hippie musician called Jungly Barry in Goa in India, backpacking on Mount Etna, working on a sheep station in the Australian outback, or being fed to tigers named Zora at his old mate Aspinall Howlett's zoo.
Being fed to tigers, I like that. Yeah, I mean, all of those, especially becoming food, would be a real change of direction for him.
Yeah.
It's a real change up. He's never been food before.
Aspinall, who owns the zoo and also the upmarket den, reportedly responded when questioned about this. He said, "My tigers are only fed the choicest cuts. Do you really think they're going to eat stringy old Lucky?"
That's great.
Bit of fun.
Very good.
Yeah, great. Cop that. Quality of your meat, no good.
No good.
Not good enough for my tigers.
No, thank you.
Honestly, he's been spotted all over, and even now, people have these little theories and investigations, and periodically he still makes the news. Roger Woodgate, an Englishman who lived in a Land Rover in New Zealand with a goat called Camilla.
What?
So, a goat. And also, it's called Camilla, his daughter's name.
What?
So that man was accused of being Lord Lucan in 2007, although he was 10 years younger and 5 inches shorter.
Well, I mean, they can fake that. They can definitely fake
You
that.
shrink as you age.
And you can lop off 5 inches.
And he might have had good moisturiser,
Yeah.
good skincare routine.
But he was found living with a goat.
Wow, that's wild. Is it, the phrase blow goats or something like that? Go blow a goat. Is that a saying?
In Wayne's World, it is.
Wayne's World.
Do you remember?
Right.
He holds up a sign that says, "This guy blows goats.
Yeah.
I have proof."
Right. I'm saying it's a saying. It was used once in Wayne's World. I knew it was familiar somehow.
So he's still being spotted as recently as 2020. So last year, there was a report that he was alive and living in Perth. And the discovery was reported by Neil Berryman, who it turns out is the son of the nanny Sandra Rivet, who Lord Lucan had murdered.
How?
Neil found out about his birth mother's death only after his adopted mother died. So he'd been adopted.
Right.
And he never knew.
And now he's trying to.
And now he's like, he found out and he's cracking it. You're right. Neil claims that he had discovered his mother's murderer living in Perth as an elderly Buddhist man in a share house. If he was still alive, he'd now be 86 years old.
Wow.
So it's possible.
Wow.
It's not the first time he's been linked to Perth. A book published in 2003 by a former Scotland Yard detective claimed the fugitive aristocrat was a long-haired alcoholic banjo player called Barry Halpin, who had played in a Perth group called the Mucky Duck Bush Band.
Mucky Duck Bush Band.
So is there any way that they'd be able to prove it? Do they have his DNA on file or anything like that? Probably not.
It's never been definitively proved. His wife, Veronica Lucan, dismissed all the claims over the years as nonsense, reiterating that her husband was, quote, not the sort of Englishman to cope abroad.
Oh, my God. An incredible burn, Veronica. So good. That's great. Oh, yeah, he's going to go to Australia, is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's on a sheep station.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's living as a Buddhist. Okay, sure. He's got long hair. Okay.
She always thought that he'd probably jumped to his death from a ferry and that his body had just never been found.
Right.
That was her theory.
Yeah, I suspect that he's died somewhere.
An inquest was held in 1974 and named Lord Lucan as the murderer of Sandra Rivet. So they had an investigation. It's not quite a trial because he's not there. But most people's theory is that he mistook the nanny for the wife, bludgeoned the wrong person, and then realised that the net was closing in.
And his motive was...
Getting his kids?
I'm a bad dad.
Paranoia that she would take the kids away from him.
But the court had said, you can see your kids on the weekend.
Yeah.
And all of his behaviour was, I'm not in this, Like, it's not like it wasn't her fault that he was gambling all day and night.
No. I want these kids because I love my kids, so I'm going to traumatise them by killing their mother.
Yeah.
He was declared dead in 1999, but a death certificate wasn't issued, which meant his son couldn't inherit his father's titles.
Oh.
This changed in 2016 when the death certificate was finally issued and his son George was able to become the 8th Lord of Lucan, and he's still alive as the 8th Lord.
Yeah, right.
Was it 99 a coincidence that was also when the House of Lords was ended? Is that what you said before?
Yes, I think, just over the years that his son had, because he'd become an adult in that time, had kept pushing to say, look, he's probably dead.
Yeah.
And apparently they did keep it open. They didn't issue a death certificate for a while, I think to help out Lady Veronica so that she was able to get financial support.
Yeah, okay, right, yep.
And then once the kids are grown up. His son speculated in 2016 after being, he went to court lots of times to try and get the death certificate issued. And when it was, he thinks his father died that night, probably ending his own life. He remarked, to hear that your father is racist, a snob, a poster boy for the aristocracy in the 70s didn't sit very well with a rather charming, rather lovely and kind man that I knew. Nevertheless, people, if they leave a party early, get to be speculated about, don't they? That's what he said. So he's now living as the 8th Earl of Lucan. Wow. And just as postscript on the other guy, John Stonehouse. Yeah. Remember how he was accused of being a spy for Czechoslovakia?
Yes.
Well, it wasn't until 2010, 22 years after he died, that declassified documents revealed that he was, in fact, a spy. It was revealed that then Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher had agreed in 1980 to cover up revelations that Stonehouse had been a Czech spy since the 60s, as there was insufficient evidence to bring him to trial. When he was Junior Minister for Aviation, it is alleged he was paid £5,000, the equivalent of nearly £71,000 in today's money, for crucial information on Britain's planes and future aviation plans.
Wow. Was he motivated by just the money, or was he trying to support the Czechoslovakian cause?
No, he was always just looking for a way to make extra money.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then so Margaret Thatcher knew about it, but then look, what's the point? And now he's an old dying man, and also we don't have enough evidence to give him to trial. So she agreed to just hush it up, and that was only we found out decades later.
And amazing that and he was already in jail for other things at that point, right?
Yeah, he'd already been to jail, and had been released from prison because of his heart condition, yeah.
Oh,
so she thought, let's not create a scandal.
I mean, that's that's another. Well, was he the gambler? No, he was the businessman. But that's a gamble that didn't pay off, right? If it was just for that $5,000, I mean, it cost him his job and everything.
That's what spiraled everything out of control.
But surely in your head somewhere you're going, is this the right thing to do?
Is this worth it? It's worth it. The confirmation that Stonehouse was a paid spy for the Czechs also makes him the only British politician to have acted as a foreign agent whilst a minister. So that's probably a claim you don't want to have.
Is he in the Guinness Book of Records?
Yeah, good for him. What a title to have.
So there it is. That is my report on the 2 disappearing MPs. 2 very different guys who just both happened to disappear within the same fortnight in 1974.
Amazing that, I mean, that feels like 2 full reports.
I did try and put 2 stories together there. Yeah,
great work, Dave. Yeah.
It just, the coincidence of it blew my mind when I discovered, hang on, because Lord Lucan...
John, right?
Yeah.
That is wild.
Lord Lucan's been suggested a whole bunch in the hat, because that's quite a famous story, especially in the UK, the fact that, he murdered the nanny and disappeared. But when I found out about the other guy, I was like, well, I've got to mention him as well. And then it sort of blew out of control, and I just reported on both.
That's amazing. Great job, Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Really tragic stories.
Yeah.
But, wild stories too. Great stuff. And now it's time for everyone's favourite section of the show where we have to thank our supporters. And you can get involved there at patreon.com/dogoonpod or dogoonpod.com. And there's all sorts of rewards you get for supporting the show, including 3 bonus episodes each month. We do an extra report, much like the normal show. We also do a quiz or some other such thing, and we do an episode of our Phrasing the Bar podcast, which is a podcast that goes through the films of Brendan Fraser, the greatest actor of all time. That's what we thought when we started the series.
Hey, don't worry, we've got George of the Jungle coming up this month. We're all good.
And
actually, I just watched it the other day. I was bored. I was home alone. I was looking for something to watch. I was on Disney Plus, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it early."
I'm gonna do it.
Still good?
It is still good.
You love to hear it.
The first thing we like to do, though, when we thank our supporters is do the fact, quote, or question section, which has a little jingle that goes something like this.
Fact, quote, or question.
He always remembers the ding. And the way to get involved in this is to go to one of those websites, get involved on the Sydney Scheinberg level. Then you get to give us a fact, a quote, or a question. You also get to give yourself a title. And then I'll read 4 of them out each week. I don't read them out until I read them out, so I don't know what's coming. No one else does.
No one else knows.
No one sees it coming.
So just sit on the edge of your seat with me as I read out this one from Michael Dorizzi, who's given himself the title Chiefs Halftime Hopeful. Okay. Makes more sense once you... I'm like, the Chiefs, they're an NFL team.
Kansas City?
Kansas City Chiefs, they're the champions. He's given us a fact here, and the fact is, I'm writing this during halftime of Super Bowl 55. So this is from a while ago. I've started trying to separate them so it's not when they come in. I'm trying to sort them out so that everyone gets a go before we go back around or whatever. So Michael's prolific fact quote or question. I love your work, Michael. So he writes, I'm writing this during halftime of Super Bowl 55. My Chiefs are down by a score of 21-6. I might be having a Matt-like day tomorrow if things don't turn around. I will always strive for the crunch. It's the year before my team, the 49ers, lost the Super Bowl. And either way, I was having a few beers and then I had to rush here and do an episode about the fabulous cook, Julia Child.
Very good.
Child. Children would be the plural. Thank you so much for that fact, Michael. Fantastic fact.
They didn't win, though, did they?
No, they didn't.
Oh, dear.
But they won the year before. The year that I did Julia Childs, they won that day.
And didn't they give that young, unknown Tom Brady a go at winning?
No, Tom Brady beat him.
That's what I mean.
Oh, yes.
That was my... A little bit.
They gave him a go at winning. Thank you.
Rather than selfishly going back to back, they let this young upstart have a ring for the first, possibly his first
Give
ring.
it a go, mate. Hey, you'll love it.
Bit of fun there.
You'll love a win.
Tried to do an NFL joke, didn't quite work. Sorry,
No, it
I'll
did.
stick to my lane.
It did. I just didn't understand.
Matt missed it. Even I got it.
I didn't understand basic English there. When you said they let him have a go, I thought you meant on
Their team.
their team. But that was silly by me, and I'm embarrassed by it.
Yeah, you should be.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that fact. The next one comes from Colin and Lee Wright, who have given themselves the title of Patreon fact quote or question well repair technicians.
Oh. Fixing the well.
Oh, we need that. We need water.
I'm so thirsty.
And
Thank you, Dave. It was funny.
It's funny. It's funny.
Colin and Lee have written a question, and it goes like this. I don't know if you've already been asked this, but if each of you wrote a book, what would it be about? Sometimes I, Colin, think about writing a book about family and how crazy family life dynamics and drama can be. I lived somewhere for a while where folks would have to leave their family for long periods of time as migrant workers in another country. They would sometimes start whole other secret families and have kids in both countries. Often the families would find... Are you talking about other people here, Colin? Or is this a
My
confession?
friend.
Often the families would find out about each other, and I think there are a lot of poignant stories to be told there through the lens of a fictional novel. But then I'd be appropriating other people's experiences and profiting off them, so maybe not. Oh, Colin, I think you're allowed to find real life. I actually don't know what the
rules are.
Rules are there. It feels like you're allowed to be inspired by real stories, but maybe not. I, Lee, now would write about Spanish colloquialisms and all the different regional and cultural sayings. I learned Spanish and lived around a lot of native speakers from all over the world, and the different turns of phrase are fascinating. For example, some people from Mexico told me how when you see a girl you find attractive, you ask what time she goes for bread, which I think is beautiful. I do. Thank you so much to Colin and Lee for answering their own question. That's something that we ask. If you do ask a question in the Fact Quote a Question section, you answer it. They're two very different book
They are
suggestions.
very.
What, Dave, you must have thought about this. You're a book lover. You got a book show.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. Maybe, they often say, write what you know.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're writing about having a little dick.
It's called My Life with a Tiny Dick.
A novella.
Halfway through, I was like, are you going to say it, Jess?
That's really.
Are you going to say it?
The opening line is, it's really small. Like, really small. That's funny.
Sorry.
I'm more meant like, I don't know, like playing in a band or something.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Not the weed
Wait, like
story.
the Weed Hornet story. Yeah.
Or would you be a fictionalized version?
What about My Tiny Dick in brackets, the Weed Hornet story?
That's what you call it. Yeah. A little weed hornet down there. What about you, Bopper?
Bananas.
Oh, a book about banana facts?
No.
Oh, like a fictional
Yes.
life of the banana.
I'm not giving too much away because
Right.
you're going to steal it.
Okay.
But it's going to be a bestseller.
Banana.
It's an allegory.
Oh.
That's really clever.
Thank you.
Have you rang the Corey hotline recently?
Story.
Here are some words that rhyme with Corey. Story, lorry, allegory. That's good fun.
What about you, Matt?
A book about... I had a note, or I thought it was such a good idea for a book at one point. I had this note written down, and I'm like, one day I'll write this book. And I saw it I was going through notepads recently, and I'm like, that's not anything. And I was like, and I said it's called In a Loop. And it was about a guy who was caught in a loop.
What kind of
Everything. He had songs looping through his head, but his life was also in a loop.
Oh,
He could every day back around to the same spot.
God, it feels like that, doesn't it?
It was like,
I mean, you do because you
there's
go back
nothing there.
to your bed every
Right. I mean, in a lot of ways, life is a loop.
Yeah, life is a loop.
He also worked in a noose factory. I'm just riffing here, but he was a cowboy.
A lot of subtext there.
Yeah. He wore big dangly earrings. There were loops.
Okay. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Oh, they're hoops, aren't they?
Hoops, yeah. But it's a similar. I mean, I get it.
They're both oops.
Yeah. And he made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, all right. I'll write a book about the history of the St Kilda Football Club. All right, thank you so much, Colin and Lee. This one's from Sophie Shooter. I always get it wrong and I always second guess myself. Sophie, I'm sorry. Sophie's given herself the title Group Mum, hydrate, get an early night, and for goodness sakes, quiet down. Quiet down or I'll make you go next door and apologise for the noise.
Mama!
Thank you, Sophie. Sophie's asked a question as well. Sophie's question is, do you have a quote from a TV show you use all the time? I use a few, but the Grandpa Simpson quote, a little from column A and a little from column B comes out my mouth several times a week. Can I come too?
Yeah, it's a big one.
Good question.
Oh, I definitely do. I can't think straight off the top of my head, but yeah, heaps.
Yeah, I do too, and I can't think of any now either.
Yeah.
Dave, kick us off.
I always just say, no, my son is also named Port. There's no context. Yeah. It's like saying it.
That comes in handy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. No, I also have a son named Port. So funny. What about you, Bob?
No, I can't think of any. Definitely, yeah, Simpsons ones. You'll have to speak up. I'm wearing a towel. It's got to be stuff from Parks and Rec that I say a bit.
From Pugwall Summer, sometimes I'll say, we'll give him the old key change trick. That'll get him. No one knows what. In this episode, it was a kid show in the 90s about an Aussie band of teenagers, and they were called the Orange Organics. And at one point, their school principal wanted his nephew to sing in the band, and he was awful. He was a real dork. So they go, we'll use the old key change trick. That'll get him. And they play this song and they just keep looping it around.
Looping?
Oh my God. Can I use this? And they up a key each time. And he's going, there was something. There was something. There was I'm sorry, I can't go on. And they got him.
Yes.
And then their singer came back in and then they started rocking again.
Yeah, they got him.
I don't know why that came to mind. I would never say that, but...
Do you reckon I could use that in the Wheat Honda story?
Yeah.
But I will not be using it in banana.
Trick.
Yeah. You don't need our ideas.
I don't need it. I'm gonna be rich.
Yeah, that's the kind of one I'll notice them all the time.
Yeah, heaps.
From now on.
One that my brother and I used to say a bit was like cross the T's and dot the lowercase I's. It's from Wayne's World. Wayne's World 2.
Yes. Wayne's World. Hey, I'm in Delaware.
Yeah, I love saying, excuse me?
Yeah, baking powder.
Yeah, that's full.
Yeah.
Grey Poupon.
I never got that. I saw that ad years and years later.
I
always found it very funny.
I thought it was very funny until I saw the ad. Yeah.
What about when Garth he sleeps with that beautiful woman and he comes out in the robe the next morning and says, "Good morning, darling. I trust you slept well." And he's blowing a little bubble pipe. I say that a bit too. Good morning, darling.
Yeah. Oh, Wayne's World's so full of them.
Yeah. Mean Girls in there a lot too. Anyway, lots.
There's a Dana Carvey stand-up bit that gets in my head sometimes when I'm cooking dinner. He talks about, I can't remember what the vegetable is, so it's not worth saying. But fuck.
There's one where Garth does a big drum solo in the shop and somebody's like, "That was amazing," and he's like, "I like to play." I say I like to play a lot too.
Yeah, that's
to play. Okay, so Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've gone off track a bit. Did they ever do a TV version of that? Anti-Dentine?
Did they ever do a TV version of that? It was adapted from the TV SNL sketch.
Yeah. Oh, really made a fool of myself there, Dave. I'm glad you found that so amusing. This fool didn't even realise it came from an SNL sketch.
Come on, that's pretty funny.
Come on.
Got him. Fuck yeah. You thought you were sassing me on the Sass Twin episode. I ain't letting that go.
That was really embarrassing for you, Dave. All right, and the next one is from...
Excuse me?
Suraj Pyrrhus, which is said like penis. And that's how he told me it's pronounced, and I have to think of that every time. Pyrrhus penis.
Okay.
As in it's said like penis, as in it's pronounced penis?
Oh, I always assumed he meant penis with an R, but yeah, maybe
I think it's probably penis with an R.
He's just
Siraj
messing with you.
penis. So Siraj finally he's got a quote, but his title is possible record holder for dialing the Victorian vaccination booking hotline.
Oh.
Yeah, that sounds frustrating. Siraj,
I work with someone who says that she called 300 times before she got through.
Jeez.
What?
I work with someone who said they called 300 times before they got through to the vaccination hotline. Just redial.
I'm not doing that 300 times.
Yeah, that sucks. All right, so Siraj has a quote, and it is, if you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. That's
yes.
the Dalai Lama. Yeah, that's great.
See, Dave, you tell that to your penis.
Doesn't that, it does sound like the Dalai Lama's like saying fuck a mosquito.
Banging it. Yeah, the Dalai Lama has absolutely banged a mosquito.
Yeah. That is...
Sleeping with a
I find
mosquito.
that inspirational.
That's beautiful.
At least the mosquito prick would make yours look big. Or would it?
What? No.
I don't know how we got here. We all know Dave's got a huge schlong.
Too big.
Edit all of that out if you need to, and probably do. All right.
Nah.
So the next thing we'll have to do is thank I should say thank you so much to Siraj, Sophie, Colin, Lee and Michael for their facts, their quotes and questions. Get on it, dogonpod.com or patreon.com/dogonpod if you want to get involved in that. You can also, if you're on the shout-out level, get a little shout-out, which we'll do now. Jess, you normally come up with a little game for us here.
Oh, where have they fled to?
Where have they fled to? Fantastic.
No, or their fake name.
Ooh, what was
when
the
they're
fake
trying
name,
to
Dave?
open a bank account.
Oh, is it Clive Mildoon?
Clive Mildoon.
Clive Mildoon.
I don't know. Is there something better there? Probably.
I think fake names is fun.
Fake names.
All right, so first, I'd love to thank from Nagata in Japan, Tom Jenkins.
Tom Jenkins. Tom Jenkins is already a pretty good...
It's a great name.
Great.
How's your
It's great.
Japanese, Dave?
No, good. I mean, I did the 5 years of primary school.
Yeah.
Did you?
I remember Pinku and Orange. Pink and orange.
Okay.
So what's double I? Do you know what double I would do to a place name?
I'm not sure if it's Niigata. I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, thank you so much, Tom Jenkins, or fake name.
Gary Sunday.
Gary
Ooh,
Sunday's
nice.
great.
Spell E or Y on the end.
Sounds delicious.
E.
Oh, I'll have a
yeah.
Gary Sunday. Yes, please.
Gary Sunday. Welcome.
I panicked.
Thanks so
I
much.
like it. It's good.
Gary Sunday's
Gary
fantastic.
Sunday.
I think Tom
That
will
sounds
be
fake.
stoked with that.
Sounds fake. I like it.
Thank you so much to you, Tom. I'd also love to thank from Upper Hutt in New Zealand, Cat. No surname.
Oh, okay.
Dog.
Oh, just one name.
Cat dog.
Dog Johnson.
Dog Johnson.
Wow, Dog Johnson. How's it going?
Doug Johnson. Nice to meet you,
It's the
Doug.
complete opposite of cat. So
They'll never.
I love it.
nobody will know.
And the opposite of not having a last name? Johnson.
Something Dave doesn't know.
Dog Johnson. How are we here?
The opposite of not having a last name is Johnson. That's great.
And finally from me, I'd love to thank from Austin, Texas. Beautiful Austin, Texas. Stay weird. I think that's what they say. Justin Leach.
Brandon Thunder.
Oh, Brandon Thunder.
Race car driver.
That is hot.
That's his cover. Yeah, I drive cars. He's real bad at it. He's like, yeah, I'm a championship race car driver. Give me a car.
Here we go. I'll drive
it
it.
real fast. Oh, stacked it again. Whoop.
Stacked it in a car is very funny because that's like fell off a scooter, like a little rolly
falls
scooter.
out.
Yeah,
Oh.
he stacked it.
You can't say, oh no, wild beast. How do you tame this beast?
Stacking it in the car is so funny. Ow, my stomach. Okay. Who's thanking some people now?
I'd love to, if you don't mind, I'd love to thank from Great Britain in...
Great Britain.
My good. Uttoxeter. I don't know what that is. Thomas, surname withheld.
Okay, so Johnson.
Something Johnson. What's the opposite of Thomas?
Frog
Johnson.
Umame.
Frogomame?
Oh, Frogomame Johnson.
Frogomame Johnson. That's great. I'd like to open an account. All right, what's your name? Frogomame Johnson.
Why? Hang on. Why is frog the opposite of Thomas?
What are we doing opposites?
Well, that's what he said. What's the opposite of Thomas? And you said
frog, and then you just went amame.
I was in a zone. I thought we were just doing like that free.
Oh, okay.
No.
Free brain thing.
No, yeah.
So
no.
I freed my brain so much that I missed very clear instruction.
Frogomame Johnson. All right.
Oh, the opposite of Tom.
I love it.
Frog.
Honestly,
I love it.
I'm here for that.
Oh, big time. Obsessed with it.
Frogomame Johnson.
Frogomame Johnson is incredible.
Good luck to you.
Frogomame is the opposite
Frogomame.
of.
Next up, I would like to thank from address withheld. I can only assume it's deep within the fortress of the moles.
We should shout out the mole people
Oh,
there.
mole people, praise be. I would like to thank Trent Bartlett.
Okay, Trent Bartlett.
What about Bruce
Yes.
Hot Loaf?
Oh, yeah. He sounds
Put it
delicious as well.
Bruce Hot
Put it there. Put it there.
Put it there.
Bruce Hotloaf.
He's got a really good handshake.
Bruce
Hey,
Hotloaf.
he always looks
Put
you
it
in the
there.
eyes when he gives you a handshake. Bruce Hotloaf.
If you give him a dead fish, he will crush that fish.
Wait, I changed his name. Not Hot Lake. What was it?
Hot Loaf.
Hot Loaf. Bruce Hotloaf. Pleasure to meet you.
Good on you, Trent from within the Fortress of the Moles. Finally, I would like to thank from Toronto in Canada, it is Christian Pearson.
Christian Pearson. The opposite, of course, being Heathen Apple Dad.
Heathen Apple. That's
The opposite of a pear being an apple.
Heathen Apple.
His son being a dad. This is the most fun I've ever had with this.
Heathen Apple. Oh, love it.
Good.
Christian Pearson, Heathen Apple.
Can I thank some people as well?
Please.
I would love to thank from Nunda in Queensland, Gabby and Ivy.
Oh, Gabby and Ivy.
So I guess two names we're going to come up with.
Yeah, so Gabby. I think
But we don't know
Gabbo.
their surname, so it's Johnson.
Okay.
Surname Johnson, so we need
Both
two
Johnson.
first names.
I think
far
Gabby,
we've had-
Gabbo, Dave. So maybe Krusty and
Ivy, Ebony,
Krusty and Ebony. Beautiful.
Johnson.
Krusty, and
The Johnsons, or the Johnsons as they're normally known.
Yeah.
Welcome the Johnsons.
Krusty and Ebony Johnson.
So good.
Beautiful couple name.
Wow.
What would their celebrity couple name be then, Jess? Krusty and Ebony.
Krebany.
Krebany.
Oh, Krebany's
beautiful.
good.
Krebany.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Just gorgeous. I would also love to thank from Abbotsford in British Columbia, Canada, Aaron Dawson.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the opposite of Dawson is, of course,
Creek.
Pacey.
Okay, yes. Pacey.
And the opposite of what was it?
Aaron.
Well, a name that starts with Z? Like
Yeah.
Zelda Pacey?
Zane. Oh, Zelda,
Zane.
yes.
Zelda Pacey.
Zelda Pacey's a beaut. That's a nice name.
Yeah.
Good.
Zelda Pacey.
Look, I like Aaron Dawson, but Zelda Pacey's fantastic.
Who's Aaron Dawson? I only know Zelda Pacey. There we go. And finally, I would love to thank from Newark in DE. Is that
That would be.
Delaware?
It is Delaware, the only D state.
I'm in Delaware. I would love to thank Joelle Hannon Crop.
Oh, did not really need a fake
It's
name.
incredible.
Joelle Hannon Crop.
Joelle, I say this about a lot of names. That is one of the best I've ever heard. Joelle Hannon Crop is incredible. I would buy a ticket to your TED Talk like that. I wouldn't even need to see the topic.
Should we?
I know the surname is a well-known drought. What's the first name? Anonymous,
Yeah.
well-known. Crop, drought.
Yes.
So what's the opposite of Joelle? Jack and Jill? No, Joe and... Cup of Joe's, coffee.
Yes.
Okay, so T is the opposite of coffee.
Yes.
So an L.
Earl Grey.
Earl Grey, well-known drought.
We've done it. We've absolutely done it. We nailed that.
Joel, did you just consult a random word generator?
So
Yes.
thank you so much to the people previously known as Joelle, Aaron, Gabby, Ivy, Christian, Trent, Thomas, Justin, Kat, and Tom. All legends, and I think you'll all enjoy your new identities. And the last thing we like to do is welcome a few people into our Triptych Club. So we've got 5 inductees this week. These people have been on the shout-out level for 3 straight years, shout-out level or above, and they're welcomed into the Triptych Club with a bunch of other people who we've welcomed in over the previous probably, I don't know how long, maybe a year now.
Yeah.
And everyone's in there milling about, having a great old time. This place exists in our hearts, but also physically, where's the physical location this month, Jess?
It is on an island, which I will not disclose.
An undisclosed island, otherwise people will find.
Exactly, everybody would turn up.
Yes. So I'm on the door. I've got the clipboard. I've got the guest list. I'm going to read out the names. Jess is inside. She's made some drinks. What's the
Yes.
cocktail this week?
Cocktail is, of course, I've forgotten most of the story.
Lost at Sea.
yes.
What does it include?
It includes blue Caracao.
Yes.
That's how everybody
And a
always said
salty
it.
rim.
Salty rim and
Speak for yourself.
and a little edible shark in there.
Oh, delicious.
Bit of fun.
And Dave, you've booked a band. Who's playing tonight?
In honour of the story today, Lord has been booked.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay, it took me a
Story
while to
was
figure
Lord
it out.
Lucan. I was going to say in honour of Lord. I didn't want to say that because he's obviously a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But we got Lord in,
Yeah.
and she's great.
She's amazing.
Okay, and now I'll bring the people in. I'll read out your names, open up the velvet rope here. Dave will then hype you up because you're welcomed into the club. You want to feel good. Dave will
Yes.
make you feel good, and then it takes a lot of effort for Dave to make people feel good. So Jess will then build up Dave as well. In case you're listening for the first time and it's confusing, that is what's going on. So we've got 5 inductees this week.
Right, hit me.
Let's go through. From Falls Church in Virginia, it's Mike Schubert.
Oh.
Schubert.
We won't be falling over tonight.
Yes.
From Vancouver in British Columbia, Canada, it's Jorge Fernando.
Do you hear the drums, Jorge Fernando? Oh, come on. The hype.
Hyping is up today.
Yes.
Is that a hype or a ghost?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Okay,
yeah.
No, honestly, keep it up. It's very funny. It's very funny. Yeah. Your heart's not in it, and I'm loving it.
From Edinburgh in Great Britain, it's Dylan Harvey Elvis Humphrey.
Oh my God, the best name I've ever heard. Well, we had the King Elvis is in tonight. Slow clap.
From Dulwich Hill in New South Wales, Australia, it's Sean Dunn.
Oh, I thought this night was done, but it's only getting started.
Yes.
And finally, oh my God, from Rancho Cucamonga in California, in the United States, it's Aaron Butler.
Oh, Cucamonga, let me be your butler. That is very
That is the best city name I have ever heard. Rancho Cucamonga. And it definitely reminds me a little of Rancho Relaxo from The Simpsons.
Honestly, it does sound like a made-up place. I love it.
All right, welcome in Aaron, Sean, Dylan, Jorge, and Mike. So glad to have you in. Party away to Lord and drink some of those Lost at Sea cocktails. Thanks so much for joining us. It's nothing else to do but bring this baby home. Who wants to do it? Davo?
Hit up dogoonpod.com for links to all our stuff. We're at dogoonpod on all the social media. It's always good to hang out with people online. But also, you can watch us this Saturday night if you're listening hot off the presses. Our 300th episode, live spectacular. Tickets at sospresents.com. But find the link in the description of this episode. Matt's out on tour, as we said. Also links to all of his shows.
MattStewartComedy.com.
But until next week, I guess we'll say thank you so much for listening and goodbye!
Later.
Bye.